jet flying son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. Jet, we Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elder, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, Black Sun, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, sun up, baby.
Hey, Roundtable Season 2. Scotty and Blue. Backpack coming through. Let's square it away. Ain't nothing like the round table. I pay you if able to find better on cable. They made you appreciate Scotty and Blue. Football media, walking encyclopedia. Scott understand, the Blue got the stats handy. Football, the topic around it, they ain't dancing. Stat sheet longer than Clifford Harris's rap sheet. He run a phone, please. See why you playing them that deep. Awkward silence, no need to be quiet. You know you saw the game, we might as well talk about it. Somebody caught a body in front of everybody. Pick six, cornerback out here committing robberies. How much you wanna bet we could cover the spread? 50 yards in the game, 100 after the catch. Throw it up if you want, I'ma grab it and flex. Season 2, Captain Pettier, still with the mess. You can move how you want, but we gon' move too. Round table with your boys, yeah, Scotty and Blue. Backpack.
What is going on, everybody? You already know what it is. It's Thursday night and the round table is back. All right, you already know what it is. You got me, Scotty, and my boy Blue.
What's good, man? What's good, man? We had to push it back to Thursday night, but we here. We got a big show coming.
Man, listen, it's huge, bro. This is a good week, man. Yes, so anybody, listen, from now on, listen, my show with Mike Reed is going to be on Wednesdays, and Blue and me are going to be on a roundtable on Thursday. That gives Blue his time to do his FCS review on Wednesday, and then we can come in here and we can recap everything on that Thursday. So we thought it'd be a little bit better fit and squeeze for the roundtable, all right? But listen, Blue, you teach me a lot about college football, but it's time to step in my lane. Michael, Thursday night football, Chargers versus the Chiefs. Who you got?
Give me Chargers all day, man. I know Keenan Allen's out. I got you. But listen, I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, Scotty. I don't know. Listen, this might be before, we kind of blew up in this space. I did a lot of NFL draft coverage. I actually had Herbert ranked the #1 quarterback in that draft class coming in. Over Burrow, over Tua. Listen, I've been a Herbert believer since he was at Oregon. Give me the Chargers, man. And I just think that defense is better, man. They made some great additions. And listen, O-line's important. Love the O-line additions as well. Give me Chargers.
Oh man, that's what I love about the roundtable. We're gonna have to come back on this one next Thursday, see who won. I'm going with the Chiefs, man. Listen. First of all, like my boy Shannon say, my homeboy. That's my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? It's Patrick Mahomes, but I never always forget his name. The free safety that the Chargers have, Derwin James.
Yeah,
I been a fan, always a fan. I think he's an absolute dog back there on the back end. But listen, it starts and begins with Patrick Mahomes. The offensive line is revamped. It looks good. They're going to put up points. Kelsey's still there. Tyreek Hill is no longer there, but he has pieces. I think, listen, I kind of feel like Mahomes is a force multiplier because of his skill set. And he doesn't need, as long as you give him somebody who can catch and can run, he doesn't need a typical #1. And I think his typical #1 is actually Travis Kelce. Defensively, I still think there's some holes on the back end. You lose Tyrann Mathieu, all those type of situations. I still think there's opportunities for Justin Herbert to get loose, but I think it's going to be a shootout. And when it's a shootout, I gotta go. Listen, man, what he did to Josh Allen in the playoffs is disrespectful. What he did to that man with a minute left and went down there and listen,
it might have been the worst thing that he could have done, though. Did you watch Josh Allen that first game?
Oh,
stiff arming people into the ground.
Are you talking about against the Rams?
Yeah.
Oh, he was a monster. He was a man amongst boys.
Listen, he's on a mission, and he's hoping he can get back to Arrowhead. He's hoping. He's on a mission, and that's a big dude. I mean, he's like a defensive end playing quarterback.
And it runs like a gazelle. It's unreal. I keep trying to tell people, like, man, listen, that boy, you can't be no stiff quarterback when you got people like Josh Allen, 6'6", probably running a 4.5. It's just ridiculous, man. But we talk. That's the NFL. That's my lane. I do a little more NFL. I'm still learning this college football stuff.
It's all. Listen, man. I'm from Bama. We don't have an NFL team, so who are we gonna root for? Like, listen, my adopted team. I had two. My mom, and my whole family's from Tampa. So I was kind of a Buccaneers fan growing up, and my dad and my uncle, also from Mobile, were big Dan Marino fans. So I was a Bucs fan and a Dolphins fan, and they both sucked my entire childhood, except outside of like a year for the Bucs when they won with John Gruden, and I was like 5 or 6 when that happened. So it's been a tough NFL road for me, man. But hey, we got Tyreek this year.
Hey,
Tua look good. We beat the Patriots. We'll see.
And before we get into the NCAA stuff, the Dolphins has always been the Patriots' kryptonite. It's I don't know what it is about that team, but it's divisional rivalry and things like that. When they busted out the Wildcat, they caught the Patriots by surprise that year. Now they got Tua and Tyreek, and Jalen looks good as well. He's healthy. So, we'll see. We'll see how that team, continues to progress. I think I was never a Tua fan. I'm still not a Tua fan.
I'm not either. It's all good. When we did draft Herbert, we did a live draft special that year. I just left the stream. I was so pissed. I wanted Herbert so bad for the Dolphins, and I think right now we would be one of the top teams out there if we had Herbert mixed with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Give me that all day.
Oh my goodness, that would have been amazing, absolutely amazing. But man, just want to throw some NFL in there. I know you guys are watching the game while you're watching us as well. We appreciate y'all. All right, let's get to some breaking news. NCAA, the new portal rules. I'm gonna read the article. Blue, I want you to give your opinion, and then we'll see what the comments and chat say about this. But here is the article by ESPN. NCAA instructs schools to remove transfer portal entries since new window into effect. Let me zoom this in for you guys. All right. The NCAA board directors of August 31st voted to approve 60 days throughout the calendar year during which student athletes enter the transfer portal, a change that went into effect 2022-2023. Football players will be allowed to enter the portal for 45 days, beginning day after the college football playoff field is announced, and also from May 1st to May 15th. Those dates were put into place effective immediately, but athletes were still entering the portal, a process that requires school compliance office to officially enter the players' names. So, Blue, I mean, I know a few players that have jumped in. I think that also includes Guthrie. He has to come out of the portal because I do believe that he jumped in after the August 31st date. But what is your opinion on the new NCAA portal rules?
I mean, if this was approved all the way back in the spring, I mean, we knew it was coming. All it had to do was go through one last step to get what it was ratified or whatever the word is there. So we knew it was coming, and a lot of these teams did too. And so the players now can just utilize a redshirt year, if anything. So I mean, it really won't change much. They could still, technically be transfers, but the thing that gets me is I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what this is. This isn't the transfer portal closing. They're not mad at any, like, this isn't like a move to reestablish power for the Power Five. Like, this actually, in my opinion, helps out the FCS schools a lot more because Scotty, the one thing FBS schools have are more analysts and more people to do recruiting throughout the season. So during the season, when the transfer portal's out there from August to the end of December, there's no way FCS schools have enough staff to be scouting the transfer portal mid-season. The Bamas, the Ohio States, the Georgias do. And so what this does, this was a needed change because it makes it more organized. It's just like dead periods and active periods in high school recruiting. It allows players to focus on their season, and what it also helps is roster management across all levels, because and the one stipulation I think a lot of people overlooked is if a coach leaves midseason, whether he's fired, whether he steps down, health issue, takes another job, those players on that team where the head coach left will have 30 days to announce their intentions to go into the transfer portal. So all the clickbait videos and headlines that the transfer portal closed, that this is an attack on FCS and HBCU football, is just clickbait. That's not what it is. All it does is make it more organized now, because now players were just entering at will. And so, Scotty, what happened is everyone would just be transferring randomly, and some kids would get overlooked. Now that it's organized into these periods, teams can handle high school recruiting on the other periods and spend those 30, 45 days, 60 days, whatever the portal window is, scouting specifically for the transfer portal. And so therefore what it does is help you with roster management, because you know how many high school scholars. Well, my bad. No, you know how many high school scholarships you have. You know how many extra scholarships you have, and it allows players to get more opportunities. So this whole idea that it's a bad thing for college football is not true. This is a huge advantage for FCS schools, and also it also helps poaching a little bit, because now if a school's trying to go behind your back and recruit a player, they can't leave mid-season or do anything weird like that. The Wild Wild West is not good for college football. And listen, if you've listened to my show for the last 4 years, the NCAA, I've been on their neck about everything. They don't do anything right. This is the one rule that I think they did a great job on. And the only thing they haven't done, Scotty, is you can't transfer multiple times and be immediately eligible. But for me, I still don't think that should even be passed. If you got to transfer 6 times to get an opportunity, that's on you. That's not on the schools. That's not on anything. So I don't even care that wasn't approved. For me, the biggest thing was making it more organized for the players, helping roster management, and also this helps the high school athletes, because Scotty, what was happening is this happened at Auburn. A high school kid had an offer and a spot on the roster. A big transfer came out, decided to come to Auburn, and that kid lost a spot. So with this, that won't happen as much, or the odds would be greatly decreased. So this is a great rule for college football.
Listen, I 100% agree with you, Blue. For me, I focused on the high school players because it was just getting ridiculous. Like you're putting all the if you were not a 4-star, 5-star guy, you were looking at like D2 football when you're able and possibly able to go to D1 or D1 AA, however you want to talk about it. But this allows those kids to come in and have an opportunity to get a roster spot, to make, get a scholarship and things like that. And you can't just build your team through the portal. That, like, I think that's the kicker right now, is that when you're having the Wild Wild West, if you go from February to August, and it's just nothing but transfers, and then you got August. I had a coach hit me up, said they still getting transfer players in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That they're trying to get the transcripts right and everything like that. So it's just ridiculous. And I think this holds everybody accountable, and also the player. See, this is the thing. You have to make a decision. Yeah, like that. And I think that's the benefit, the gift and the curse, right? For a player, you can't get mad and just be like, oh, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a solid decision. Hey, you know what? I don't think this is right for me. I'm a dip. And if you make that in May, like you said, that gives my team time, April, to kind of get everything situated for the start of the season and how we're going to move forward and process that. And I'm glad the window isn't 2 or 3 months. It's 45 days. Hey, find what you're looking for. Get in the pool. It's like going shopping. Get what you need for the grocery store and get your butt back to the house. You know what I'm saying? Don't go in there trying to overfeed yourself. So I don't see anything wrong with this rule. Like I said, I think it helps FCS schools a lot more, because FBS schools can't just be over here like, hey, man, if you ain't getting no playing time, like, you ain't got time for all that, man. And like you said, they don't have enough staff to do all that. So I'm glad they have that in place. And I think going forward, kids have to make a solid decision. And before you go, Blue, listen, I'm in the belief, transfer as many times as you want. If you can play, you can play. Like, it shouldn't be no sit out, nothing. You got a limited transfer, because at the end of the day, you're right, it's on you. If you got to transfer 6 times to play, get your opportunity. That's just how I feel. Like, find the spot that fits for you.
And I think a lot of people overlook the timing of when the windows are. Right after the season. So if you're not happy with playing time, you're not happy with coaching staffs, everything, got 30 days or 45 days, figure it out. Right, and then the next one is right after spring practice. Oh, you thought you had a chance to start? Well, try to go find you a better opportunity. So they pick the portal dates or the window dates to think of the players. And that's a great thing to me. That's a huge step forward in terms of player movement as well. And then the fact, like I said, the fact they put the coaching stipulation in there, amazing, because that's been a big issue for me, is how do you expect kids to stay for a coaching staff that didn't recruit them, because everybody goes in and out. So the fact that they did that is better. And also, Scotty, here's the big thing too, and this is one of the reasons why they made it during the season you can't transfer, or during the semester it's always at the end, is because too many transfers, Isaiah Landon, some of those FAMU guys, some of the ones across the country, were not getting eligible. So they would transfer and slack off on their academics and things like that. And progress to degree would all be messed up, academic eligibility. So this allows the students to keep funding. So they still are on scholarship. They still are doing everything they need to do. And on top of that, they don't get behind in progress to degree. So it should increase the chances they're eligible at whatever school they go to. So overall, man, on all sides, this is a great addition to the transfer portal.
Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Like you said, the NCAA doesn't do much right, but they definitely did this one right. All right. Let's get into some week 2 recaps. Pick a couple games, Blue. I'm gonna show the people what some of the scores, but pick a couple games that you want to talk about on your week 2 recap.
Oh man, look, can we talk about the Valley game real quick? just both of us. Can we just have a heart to heart? Like, I don't like to, I try to keep my show professional, but what is going on in Valley? I mean, I asked Dancy this week. I don't know if anyone went over to HBCU Sports and saw the whole press conference. I asked him about the 2 quarterback system, and he said that whoever wins the quarterback battle this week, Scotty, is going to be his guy. That he won't say no to a 2 quarterback system, but that it depends. It kind of depends. It just, dude, you can't tell me Easton's the best quarterback.
You can't.
He was Scotty. When I texted you, he was what, like 3 for like 17, and the other, and yeah, and then DeLilio's over there. He threw 5 first half touchdowns, and then they called him off.
And I watched
Go
the
ahead.
game. Yeah, and I watched the game. I mean, like I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna sit and watch this game because I want to truly evaluate Eason. And I'll tell you one thing: yes, their O-line is bad. Going against Austin P, I don't know who that 93 is on that D-line, but he is a freaking monster. Their O-line is bad. I get that, but there was some throws that I'm just like, bro, you have to make that. And I'm talking about touchdown throws, wide open throws. The guy, I mean, it's so, if I'm Ja'Cory Rankin or any of those guys, I'm frustrated because I'm doing my part. And when I do my part, we have the time, you still can't make the throw.
It's just, man, the effort. Like, what do you want Caleb Johnson to do? They're putting 11 in the box. They might as well just leave the wide receivers uncovered because you can't hit them. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And Caleb Johnson had a bad game. And for me, it's just like, what are you going to do to help out your best player?
It's tough, man, because you're not doing anything. Okay, so if I wanted to blame you for creativity, I can't even do that because why? When nobody trusts your quarterback to make a throw. So even it doesn't matter how creative you are. It's not gonna pull me out the box because I know at the end of the day I gotta stop Caleb because you might go 1 for 10 throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? Or if I gave you 5 open receivers, you might go 3 for 8. You know what I'm saying? So it's those opportunities. This game wasn't. It wasn't. Listen, this game was not winnable at no point. At no point in time, this game was ever going to be winnable. Is the Tarleton. Like I still go back to that game, how winnable it was, and you think you still decided to roll with Jelani Eason.
I mean, Scotty, and TJ Goodwin looked terrible too.
He looked bad.
Listen to these stats. Jelani Eason went 5 for 18, 34 yards and 2 interceptions. And then Trey Goodwin comes in and goes 3 for 13 for 16 yards. Scotty, as a team, they had 31 attempts for 50 yards and 2 interceptions. That's 1.6 yards a pass.
Listen, man. And what's really bad, Blue, if you really break the game down, the quick game is not even working. That's what really makes it even worse because a lot of stuff they try to do is deep, but the quick game doesn't even work. And when I saw, and I got to keep it a whole buck, when I was watching Trey Goodwin, he brings the ball up so slow. I'm like, what are you like? It felt like it's like a girl who's shooting a 3. You know how like when girls shoot 3s, they be like, and then they shoot like that. Like that's how he felt like I was throwing the ball. He would be like this. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that ain't no better. So
I don't know where they go. I mean, like, listen, I get it. Everyone in the preseason was like, man, they didn't want to put anyone last in that division because everyone had a few bright spots. Right now, man, how do you win a game? Is Delta State a guaranteed win this weekend?
It is not. It is not. I talked to one of those coaches over there because I'm really cool with one. They said, Scotty, we average 40 points a season. They said we might put up 45 or 50 points on these boys. Our coach from Delta, listen what I'm telling you. A D2 coach texted me and said, we might put 40 on them boys because we're that good.
So we're looking at a winless season right now, possibly. I mean, legit. And I mean, like a real conversation is like, what is Dancy's coaching status if they don't win a game this year?
Man, it was tough. What's tough, right? Because let me say this. There was a kid that left Delta State, and the quarterback was like 6'4", big kid, could run. And matter of fact, his name was Quincy. It was another Quincy on the team last year. And he said, yo, Scotty, I just never got a chance. Like he said, he never gave me an opportunity to show what I could do in the game. The kid went to JUCO. He's in Cali right now playing for a JUCO team, and I don't know what he's doing over there. I haven't reached out to him. I got to talk to him. But, I just think like you do yourself a disservice, and then you recruit the number one JUCO quarterback, Jamari Jones, and he hasn't even seen the field. But I said in before he even got there, when I'm looking at I said, this guy isn't a quarterback. Now, he's a hell of an athlete, but he's not a quarterback. So you might have to go to a wing. Like, real talk, you might have to go to a wing T. You might have to go to a option.
Now, that's a conversation we need to have, because, listen, I talked to a former player in the SWAC. He's a parent of a current SWAC player, won't name the team. He said that Valley recruited him when he was coming out of high school, and that since the 80s, he's always thought Valley should run the triple option. Because, Scotty, let's just be honest. Look at the teams who run it, the service academies. They don't have the talent or depth to really compete in a normal scheme.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech back in the day, they won some big games running the triple option. I mean, all the teams where you have a talent deficit or whatever it might be, you should be able to run that and kind of level the playing field. I don't see why they don't switch to that.
I agree, because and I could speak on the service member thing, right? So for service members, I need people to understand they aren't allowed to recruit. My bad, Blue. They aren't allowed to recruit to the level of a regular college team, because the players have to match the Army or the Navy requirements, especially the West Point. West Point has to. You have to fit the neck and the weight and everything like that. So they can't go out and get a 6'8" guy who's 350 and things like that, because they have to look good in the uniform and things like that. So if that's a requirement and they do pretty well, I don't see why you can't get, a guy that's undersized that can move, but it's kind of stocky and run a triple option, because you can get athletes anywhere. Okay, let's be real. You can find athletes anywhere, but with that scheme, you gotta figure out. And listen, I'll be cutting everybody, boy.
Well, ask anyone like Mr. Campbell and everyone in here who's watched FCS football. Let Mr. Campbell call in later today and let you know how disgusting those Georgia Southern teams were back in the 90s and 80s when they were running the triple option in the FCS. They had quarterbacks setting records and winning national championships with the triple option. It could be done.
I mean, I think, listen, okay, let's be real, because a lot of people are getting they're going hard on the triple option. You're throwing for 50 yards as a team. Like, you guys are missing the point. If you're throwing for 50 yards as a team, what else are you trying to do? I mean, make it make sense to me. We still need you to be competitive, you know what I'm saying? And throwing for 50 yards for a team, I mean, you could run for 150 on a bad day in the triple option. So, I mean, listen, and this is the schedule. So, I got Delta State winning this game. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, the coach literally said, Scotty, they're not beating us. We average 40. We got a monster of an O-line. They're not ready for us. He said that. Now, he told me who they're scouting and everything like that, but he told me that. So that's a wash, because if it was at Valley, maybe.
No. Just stop, bro. That's a top 10 FCS team. They are not that game, Scotty. I might not even give my score prediction next week, because realistically, I'd be lying if Jackson State doesn't put 70 up next week.
They won't cross the 50. Unless it's a punt return that goes crazy, they won't cross the 50.
It's going to be disgusting. I mean, that they should take that game off ESPN Plus just to respect Valley.
That's fair. FAMU at Bragg, yeah, that's a loss. Alcorn, that's a loss. Alabama State, that's a loss. Bethune-Cookman, that's a maybe. I can't even fake, because I don't know who your quarterback's going to be coming into this game. And it's at Itabena, so who knows? But listen, at the end of the day, if Bethune, listen, I'm a Bethune, but Valley, if Valley could get a comparable quarterback, the defense is going to give you everything it has. That's what Valley, a team like Valley, is going to fight. You have Caleb Johnson, and I'm going to tell you this. If I'm Caleb Johnson, I am looking for the portal. I am looking to get out. I'm sorry. There's only so much loyalty that should be in somebody that has aspirations to go to the NFL or to be in the XFL, or it's just too many leagues now to just throw up opportunity to be loyal. Bump all that loyalty stuff. All right. So if I'm him, I'm looking to get out. And Greek Knight, Alabama A&M, these are all losses, bro. I'm saying Prairie View lost, Southern lost, Alabama A&M is a lot. Like, these are all losses. I don't know why they had a SWAC championship here, but
I think it's a requirement.
So they all lost. I mean, I just don't. I don't get it, man. And it like it's only so much indictment I can give Dancy because I think he's doing a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? A hell of a job. But man, Scotty was high on Jones Valley.
Listen. I will vouch for Scotty. He made a whole Scotty made a whole episode and got into it with the dude's brother or something like that about why he wasn't a quarterback.
What? Not never. What are you talking about? Shut up. Truth. The truth does hurt because that's a lie. It's a lie, man. But
I got you back on that one. The other one's South Carolina State. That's the other one I wanted to talk about. Man, listen, Kendrell Flowers. Can we just talk about? He's a monster. He's that dude is electric, and for me, Scotty, for watching him last year to this year, he looks like he took 10 steps forward in his game.
Absolutely,
really and truly. I mean, he looks legit. We know what Shaq is, but listen, man, the one thing I came away with South Carolina State is there's no way they're going to get past Central with Corey Fields playing like he's playing.
It's quarterback. He is so Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know because listen, man, I don't know if you guys have really watched Shaq. He is special. Now he has moments where he drops the ball. He kind of reminds me of a little CeeDee Lamb-ish where he has lapses of dropping the ball, and you're like, man, you're too good to do that. But to be his size, the speed he has, the hands that he has, he can take it high. He can run past you. I mean, this guy should average 200 yards a game, at least 150. If you give him a comparable quarterback, he is averaging 7 catches, 150 yards and a touchdown every game. He's just that dynamic. But Corey Fields is not the answer. Corey Fields, and I always like to make these comparisons of Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. They're going. He's going to crash. Corey Fields can't crash the ship. I'm not going to lie. Alex Smith won't crash the ship, but Corey Fields could possibly crash the ship. But he's consistent. You know, he's what's the word? He's basic and like not too high, not too low. You know, he's that even kill type of guy. But I think for you to be where South Carolina State is building to, they need a playmaker. They got to go get them a playmaker at the quarterback.
Now, they have one. Listen, they got a true freshman at South Carolina State. That listen, I've watched this tape coming from high school. He's legit.
Yeah, I've heard some.
He's
good
a
things.
dog.
Yeah, I heard some good things about him. They also got another kid that I saw in the spring game. He was actually the starter before Corey Fields. He messed his ankle up, and then Corey Fields kind of came in. That kid was even special, and he's even more dynamic with his feet. It's just unreal. So they have talent at that position. I think Buddy Pugh is holding on a little too long. I think in this game, he could have went to another quarterback just to see what he could have brought him. But that South Carolina State and North Central game, North Carolina, I want to be there. So I'm really thinking about.
I think I'm going to be there because listen, you know what? SID keeps playing games with me. I might just go up. I just might go up there instead.
Yeah,
and just check that game out because that's the same week as the JSU Campbell game. I think it's like early October. It's either early October 22nd. Someone just put in the comments. So it's the same week. So it's the week of the Campbell game, I believe.
Oh, and that's all. That means that's Alcorn's homecoming. I'm going down to Alcorn's homecoming. So
listen, man, I'll call you from the sideline, man. I got you.
I want to be at that game so bad.
But for Bethune-Cookman though, man, why did Walter Seminole get 3 passes?
He looked good.
Scotty, how long I said when he committed, that should have been the guy. And if Bethune-Cookman does not trot him out there this weekend, I am going to go on a rant on my channel. Because you got 8 for 23, 2 interception Jalen Jones, or 2 for 8, 2 interception Franklin. Yeah. I mean, what do you want to see? And then the 3 passes you let Simmons throw, he completed all 3 of them.
It's to me, if I'm being honest, it's the athlete thing. I think it's the athlete thing that's like Jalen Jones is the highly touted guy. He's the 4-star, Florida. Like, you have all that, but he's not getting at the end of the day, he's not getting the job done. And if I'm being a whole buck though, let's be like, if you watch the game, the O-line, even the announcers are like, yo, Jalen had no time. Like, Jablonski Green, I mean, he literally pitched a tent in the back behind
He's
the
so good though, man.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know how much I can really take away from Bethune-Cookman's O-line because Jablonski Green could do that any weekend. If
but
he's on, he has it.
yeah, and I'm not taking nothing away from Jablonski, but Blue, I'm talking about like straight whiffs, bro. I'm talking about
Oh
like
yeah, that's tough. That's
I'm
bad.
going out, going in. I mean, like straight line shots, like not even a rip, like not, and don't get me wrong, Jablonski has it all. He can push, pull, bull rush, side swipe, dip in, out, all that. He has it all, but that was just a little too easy against the Bethune-Cookman offensive line last week. So I do have to give some, like, Jalen Jones he was running for his life, bro. Like, for real, he was running. And
That's why he let him in rushing.
BJ Davis he looked amazing. He looked, I mean, from what he looked like, because Central Florida, he looked like he shouldn't have been on the field. And then you go against Bethune-Cookman, he looked like the freaking man. Like, I mean, he looked impactful, and I think he had a pick 6 as well. So
yeah, they have 3 guys where if they keep developing, Godbolt, Jablonski, and Davis can all play at the next level. They got 3 future NFL players if they keep developing the way they are. And I think Jablonski right now is making a case to be one of the top defensive ends in the FCS.
The problem is his measurables. I mean,
that's going to be the pushback.
That's 6'3", 6'2". It's like, but he definitely has the talent. Absolutely, definitely has the talent. I want to get your opinion on the Grambling State Northwestern game, because you said if you don't beat them by, you said 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns.
I said if they don't blow the doors off, it's a problem.
Yeah, you said it's a problem. So what, I watched the game in its entirety. What was your takeaway from what you saw?
I mean, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I mean, that was my takeaway. I mean, like, if Grambling did not win this game by 20, I was going to absolutely flame them on my FCS recap. They had to do this. And the one thing is, listen, Maurice Washington looks just as explosive as we all thought coming into the game. And I talked about on my Jackson State preview today, he has to replicate that in some form or fashion this weekend. I need to see him consistently do that, because we've seen this, Scotty, with some players. They'll have flashes weekend, every once in a while, but then they can't be that every down back.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. And Grambling needs that. And they have a deep running back room. But Maurice Washington, I think what we saw, Scotty, is that Hugh said we saw what we needed to see with those 2 touchdowns, and said, listen, we got to save him for next week.
Absolutely.
We know what we had to do. Now, the question is, where's Faison? He hasn't been out there for 2 weeks.
I do not know. I don't get me wrong. I like the kid, J.R. Ryder, or J.R. number 1. I really do like him. He's a stridey. I don't know if you saw the play where the receiver caught the ball, not J.R., but his other receiver. J.R. ran. He blocked one person, ran down and blocked somebody else. I was like, yo, I like a kid like that. I like J.R. But continue.
And I mean, that was really my takeaways, is that. And then the other thing is, man, the quarterback situation is still a question mark for me. I know he played well, and I don't want to take anything away from Hawkins, but Scotty, the efficiency and the accuracy just does not seem to be there.
It's not.
Really and truly. It's a major concern for me right now.
What my issue with Quaterius is the lack of rhythm when he throws. It's more of a pat, it's more of a wait. And that's the sad thing. Graves is saying, he said Hawkins is the best on the roster. Chance, from what I heard is that some coaches really wanted to get Chance.
I don't know. Got to unplug something. It went away now. Now I can't hear you now. Technical difficulties here on the round table.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good now.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was some buzzing, so some people heard buzzing. Okay, good, great. Because I know I wasn't crazy. All right, so what I heard was they really wanted to give Chance a shot, but he just didn't take that step. And then that's why you have Quintarius, and they really didn't want to give the job to a freshman of Caldez. So you have him. I mean, he's a great athlete. I think he's about 6 foot, 6'1", can run. I just need to see him work that quick game more. Like I need him to see him in rhythm and really 1, 2, 3, let it go, or be very decisive when he throws the ball. But listen, he has great touch down the field, though. I mean, he really does. Like if you give him time to sling it, he really has great touch down the field. And I just want to see what that looks like. And and going back to my film breakdown, listen, in this game, this is not a game where you don't stretch the field. You have to. Listen, I can't stress enough. You have to take shots against Jackson State. You cannot live thinking that you're going to dink and dunk them up the field. That's what they want you to think, and it's never going to happen. You have to get chunk plays going against Jackson State. That alleviates some of the pressure off Maurice Washington to let him do what he does. But go ahead, Blue.
And then on the defensive side, man, listen, we knew what Joshua Reed was. We knew he was a stud. But, man, that linebacker, Lewis Matthews, has been a monster these first 2 games. Over 20 tackles, 4.5 for loss. He's been all over the field. And I think he's a guy, because I had some questions about the linebacker spot. He's a guy that's really stood out to me. And so I think the addition of him, Sundiata Anderson, Joshua Reed, that defense has a lot of talent. Now, the one question I have are the corners and seeing how they hold up this weekend, because that's the one concern I have, really and truly, because they weren't really tested.
They'd be
this weekend. Yeah,
they'd be lost. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. They be on I-95 looking at MapQuest. They be lost. Okay, like it. And if you're too young to know what MapQuest is, I can't help you with that. But at the end of the day, them Bama's be lost. Because I'm like, you're in man to man, and they do a wheel route, and you're not bailing to get over top of it. Like I'm confused. Like why are you so flat-footed? Like it's just little things like that, and technique wise that they have to come prepared. But what I will say is Cedric Thornton will have them ready in alignment. And that is a huge factor when it comes to playing Jackson State. Are you aligned properly? You're not giving Shador the easy, 3-yard throw right to Kevin Coleman or the Dallas Daniels in the slot. That Cedric Thornton is going to have them prepared. And I promise you they're going to blitz. Oh, Nelly, they gonna blitz. They gonna blitz them, boys. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm excited to see what it looks like. All right, game of the week. Listen, I think we both picked Jackson State to win this game. What was your takeaway from Tennessee State? I know you're a big Draylon Ellis guy. Jackson State came in, they did what they did. What's your thing?
I mean, I think the main takeaway is, I mean, the defense played bend but don't break, and I mean they made Jackson State sweat there for a minute. Jackson State fans can say they weren't worried. I was there; they were worried, and they were very worried. And I talked to a few people after the game, man, and they were worried. It was just, it was 2 different defensive mindsets. I had someone get pissed at me that I titled my article on my website "A Defensive Battle," even though it was 9-3 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And he was like, "We got over 400 yards of total offense." It's like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like yards without points does not matter at all. And so for me, it was just Jackson State played dominant defense where they were like, "Listen, you ain't sniffing anywhere." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to sack you 8 times. Your best player is going to be shut down, and we're going to get after your quarterback. While Tennessee State said, listen, y'all can put up 600 yards, but when y'all get inside the 20, we're turning it up.
Facts.
And regardless if you're arguing players were down or play, fumbles weren't things. Listen, that strip of Shane Hooks was opportunistic. That was a hell of a play. And so they just made plays when they needed to, man. And I talked to a Jackson State player's parent after the game, and he was like, man, could you imagine if we didn't have Mata, how ugly that game would have been a year ago?
Ooh. Hey, listen. That could have been a 3-3 game for a long time.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, I give Eddie George and Tennessee State credit. They came in as the team that was overmatched, man. Back to back, top 15 games, man, away from home. You got to give them credit. And they hung in with both teams, and so Eddie George is building a real contender in the OVC, and you got to give him credit. But listen, Shador did what he did, man. If you give Shador too many opportunities, he's eventually going to make a play, like he did in that last play where he found Willie Gaines in the corner, and it was a beautiful throw.
Oh,
It was great.
Listen, that was a better catch. I don't because Shane Hooks couldn't, like, you got a 6'5" guy who couldn't make that same play for you. You get a Willie Gaines who's 5'10", 5'11", and he comes up huge. Like, listen, that play, shout out to Willie Gaines for making that such a great play and being a big time player, man. That's big time players make big time plays. Because listen, I'm sorry, you can Shane Hooks had probably the two most biggest blunders in the game where you don't know where you're at on the goal line to even, you're 6'5" to reach over the goal line and get the touchdown, and then you give up the fumble on the opposite end, and then you drop a touchdown pass. I believe they gave him like a fade that he really didn't even jump for. So, like, as much as I think he went for like 7 catches for maybe over 100 yards or something like that, or 95 yards, something like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, the plays that needed to be made, he didn't make them.
Yep. And Savion, let's give. I've told people that's the running back one.
Yeah,
and he went out there and proved it.
You said that.
Yeah, he is. Man, Scotty, I saw him in person. That dude is huge. He's not very tall, but listen, in terms of muscle weight, that's a load at 5'5" or whatever he is. I mean, he's short, but listen, that the muscle of him and the way he runs, I love, because a lot of the times, Scotty, you know this, with physical runners, sometimes they give up the ball because they're taking too many hits, trying to do too much. His ball security while also being physical is something you can't teach. You got to come with that, and his football IQ was up there. And for me, I don't, if I get it, they want to run what's it called, like a carousel of running backs, whatever, or multi running back system. I don't know what else Wilkerson could have done to earn the running back one job. If he didn't earn it with that, I don't know what else he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think with that, that's a tough call. I mean, for a coach, because let's not act like Santi Marshall didn't dice up FAMU. I think when you have a carousel of running backs, you use them when you need them. You know what I'm saying? Like what game fits their style and things like that. Because in this game, those D linemen, once they got a hold of Santi Marshall, he was not going anywhere. He got the arm tackles and things like that. But if there's space to be had, Santi Marshall is going to hit the hold a lot harder and a lot faster than Savion Wilkerson. But I think with Wilkerson, it's that MEAC mindset. I think him being that workhorse at Delaware State, when you're taking the ball 20, 25, 30 times, you got to understand, like, I can't put this ball on the ground because the team is dependent on me. So I still think that is the mindset that he goes into this game. But I absolutely love this game. Listen, I love Tennessee State's grit. I just wish that one in blue, please, if you could ever do a breakdown of that offensive line, they were atrocious. They were absolutely bad. Lacey was horrible. And it was the wrong time to be horrible because there was a Senior Bowl scout at that game that I spoke with and was like, hey, he needed to be better. And they said he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So if he was hurt, I think that's a game you keep him out of to save your quarterback, because that O-line was really, really shaky. And I think, in the biggest moments, man, the receivers for Draylen did not. I mean, number 11. Oh God,
man, and that's an all-conference guy, dude. That's like the number 1 wide receiver, and he made 4 drops for first downs.
It was
hit him in the chest. In the chest. I was pissed, man. I was like, you can't make mistakes like that. Like, listen, Jackson State's a team where if you don't play a perfect game, they're going to beat you.
Yes, absolutely.
They have too many weapons, and Tennessee State was just shooting themselves in the foot. As much as Jackson State has some calls that went wrong. Draylen Ellis's big run got called back for a holding call in the fourth quarter. They overthrew like 2 big passes due to pressure. I mean, there's just there was so many times where Tennessee State had to put a drive together. And at that time, I'm not even talking about a touchdown. If you could just get in field goal range,
Yeah, it was a game.
it was a game. Because and then also they had the targeting call that took out their second best defensive lineman. And we can debate that all day. I'll never agree that was targeting, even though people now think that is. Listen, we might as well just put flags out there and not let them hit, because that's ridiculous. But I mean, everything just seemed, Tennessee State was gritty, but listen, Jackson State came in the better team, and Tennessee State didn't play good enough to win that game. And Draylon Ellis let the pressure get to him, which I don't blame him. If you get sacked 8 times, there ain't nothing you can do.
Hey man, your eyes just come down, bro. Your eyes,
you have to.
Come down. They just come down. It don't make you. You would be crazy to say like listen. When you listen, it's even worse when you're at a picnic and you're eating your food and you just start looking for flies. You can't even enjoy your food because you're looking for flies. You know what I'm saying? So that's literally what it was. He just like, I can't even sit back because I know someone's about to be in my grill. So they absolutely just brought his eyes down. And once you do that as a quarterback, and if I bring your eyes down, you're not even looking down the field. It's a wrap at that point in time. But hey, man, it's listen, I think Tennessee State has something special brewing. I know going 0-3 is not what they foretold for themselves, but they played great. I mean, they're 0-2, I'm sorry. Going 0-2 is not what they foretold for themselves, but I mean, those are some tough games, and they definitely came back and did their thing. So
and let me address this. I'm not going to speak on the injury. I got reached out to by someone, and he did get hurt about the second quarter. And that's kind of wild. Like, you saw some of that mobility go away, but I'm hoping he's fine. And I heard that he should be good to go by conference play.
All righty. All right. So you already know what it is.
I said, go get that bag. Get that bag. It's groceries outside.
Go get the bag, my man Blue. Who for week 3 do you got getting the bag?
Listen, man, there's a lot of big games this weekend. Listen, Dresser Wynn, new quarterback at UT Martin, has thrown for, I believe he's top 10 in passing yards right now. And listen, he was a late starter. He's a graduate transfer. He's got to go get that bag. UT Martin gets their first FBS game of the year. And so for me, I had to put Dresser Wynn on here because he's been doing it against some good opponents. They played was Missouri State last week, and he looked great. But he's got to go do it against the FBS team. You know how it is, Scotty. Now, I think it's Jesus Gibbs. I'm going to say Jesus Gibbs from Towson. They play an FBS game this weekend. Listen, he was a Senior Bowl watch list guy. And last year, he tore his Achilles, Scotty, after 4 games, was leading the team in tackles at the D-line spot. So he's finally healthy. He's played really, really well these first few games. But against an FBS school, you already know how it is. You've got to go out there and ball out against an FBS school. He has the prototypical size. He has the production. Now he just has to go show the scouts that he can get over that injury, man, because you know how hard it is to overcome an Achilles, a knee, anything like that, lower body. It's really, really hard to overcome. So this is his weekend to prove that he's over that.
Absolutely.
And Jacob Roberts, listen, A&T hasn't looked great either the first 2 weeks, but it's time, man. Like, you get ECU this weekend. You got to go out there and lead the team. I need 10, 15 tackles from Jacob Roberts this weekend. I need him to go show that he's the type of baller everyone, including myself, knows he can be, and we're talking about coming into the season. And I think A&T, understand Washington, knows they have something to prove. And I think that team's going to come in really fired up to try to at least compete with ECU this weekend. Jason Shelley, they played number 10 Arkansas, Scotty. And not only is this Jason Shelley's go get that bag game, this is Bobby Petrino's return to Arkansas.
I saw that.
So a lot on the line this weekend in Fayetteville. I'm really, really excited to see that game. I do think Missouri State can hang in there early with Arkansas, but I think Arkansas has way too much depth. They're a top 10 team. We know what it is at the FBS level. But Jason Shelley, if he goes out there and balls out, was a FBS to FCS transfer. Scotty, you know how important FBS film is to quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
He's got,
and it was Duke. Yes, Duke.
Or Duke. My bad, not Duke. My bad. One of the other teams plays ECU, but North Dakota State's whole team I put on there. Like, everybody on North Dakota State, from the water boy to the equipment managers to the play-by-play, the head coach, Go get that bag. Go get that 400 something K from Arizona and leave Arizona with a win, man. Scotty, there was a book that had North Dakota State a 1-point favorite over Arizona.
Oh,
It's time to go get that bag. The whole team, go get that check and get the 7th straight FBS win for North Dakota State this weekend.
Ooh, go get that. I said, go get that bag. Get that bag. It's groceries outside. Go get that bag. Let's go. North Dakota State. Listen, listen, I ain't got that many as Blue. I got like a little 3P. You know what I'm saying? I got a little 3P. All right, UAB running back Kayvon Britton. If you don't know, now you know. He is leading the SWAC in rushing. All right. Go get that bag, young man. Listen, this is a fight. Like, y'all play Lane, North American University. You've been padding your stats. It's okay. It's okay. Ain't nobody mad at you. All right, but just go out there and show them why you leading the SWAC in rushing. Raekwon Prince is number 2 in receiving. Once again, you've been playing Lane, North American University, okay? Go show, do something, okay? I need about 3 or 4 catches. I could have put Skylar Perry on here as well, but I was like, And then Tutton. Listen, you went for a $120 against, who they played last week, Blue? North Dakota State. Went for a $127 against North Dakota State. That ain't bad. All right, now against Duke. Hey, show me something. Okay, show me something. You know, hey, go take your boys out for O-line. Go take them to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Show them some love. You know, pat them on the back. You did a $127 against North Dakota State. Can't be mad. All right, so go out there and do what? I said, go get that bag. Get that bag. It's groceries outside. Go get the bag. All right, go get the bag. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. All right, and then we're going to get into these week 3 matchups. Stay tuned. It's the Roundtable with me and my boy Blue.
Get your pickup orders at the same time as your prescriptions at Walgreens.
If you're searching online for high-quality premium cigars, look no further than slowburnwaco.com. Slow Burn is a black-owned, consistent, customer-centric cigar retailer with dope-ass cigars, featuring boutique brands and a wide variety of well-known brands.
When you order at slowburnwaco.com, Keisha and Rocky Miller will ensure that your cigars are carefully inspected before they are packaged, making sure your order arrives on time and in the best condition. So make your next move your best move and order some sticks at slowburnwaco.com.
Get your sticks from Route 66. Waco, Slow Burn Waco, my boy Rocky. All right, make sure you get your stick. You can use the promo code OffScript TV. We need to get you a promo code, Blue. Get your little promo code out there. Your Blue Blood, get you 20% as well. All right, I'll talk to Rocky about that, see because we are using it on your channel as well.
Hey, man, I got to add the run at the end, man, so we good.
All right, let's get it. All right, week 3 matchups, Blue. Talk to me. Which ones you're excited to see? I got some other ones as well.
I mean, in competitiveness, I like the first one. The other ones, I don't know if they're going to be worth watching. You know, listen, I really do like Alcorn for the win this weekend. This is a must win. McNeese cannot be 14-0 against the SWAC.
I thought it was worse than that. I thought it was like 16-0.
I don't know. But listen, at this point, it's 0-something for the SWAC against McNeese. And that's not acceptable to me. Listen, you cannot have that as a conference. And so Alcorn for the big win this weekend. McNeese is 0-2 right now. You know, they lost to Montana State, and last week I believe they played an FBS program. But we got a first-year head coach in Gary Goff. Now, listen, he came from Valdosta. We know what type of program that they build over there. And so I think he's almost lost more games at McNeese this year, Scotty, with 2 than he's lost in his whole career at Valdosta.
Wow.
Yeah. So listen, this could be a big win for Alcorn. I really think Alcorn might have more fans there. So I don't know if the road, matchup really matters, but I got Alcorn State winning this one, Scotty. And I think this is a very, very important win for the out of conference win for the SWAC. Now for the other 2 games,
just be competitive.
Maybe. Yeah, like just don't do a Valley, man. We can't. I'm so tired of seeing those games like 41-0, 59-3, 58-3. Just just don't go out there and get drugged like that in front of everybody, please. Especially at home, Alabama A&M and PV. My bad. I think they're both at home. So yeah, just please don't get embarrassed in front of your home fans.
Maybe. Oh, that's fun. Well, you stupid. I got Alcorn winning as well. I think Stephen F. Austin is set them up for this path to have the fortitude to say, yo, we can come in here and we should be able to compete and win this game at a high level. So Alcorn, get your stuff together. I believe this is on the reservation. Is this on the reservation? I don't know if it's on the reservation.
I think it's at McNeese.
Yeah, I don't think this is on the reservation, but this is definitely an opportunity for your running back. I think his name is what, Howard?
Jalen Howard or something like that.
Something like that. Howard, I think he needs to go off. He needs to have a big night. I'm talking about 15, 20 carries, 150, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, something like that. You need Aaron Allen to be below 25 passes. You know what I'm saying? You want him in that 15, for 20, 17 for 25. You want him in that range with a couple touchdowns as well. So I'm really excited to see this game. He is not. He is cleared, but he's not going to debut. From what I've heard, he's not going to debut for this game. He's going to debut for the FAMU game. But next up on these week 3 matchups as well. I know you're super excited. UNH, North Carolina Central. I'm not even going to go to the rest of them. Go ahead. I know you want to touch on that real quick.
And I picked North Carolina Central for the upset this weekend. On my website, let me pull up the score real quick, but I got them pulling the upset, man. I'm a believer in Trey Oliver. I'm a believer in Davius Richard. That defense has been playing out of their mind. I think Central gets the upset. It's my upset pick of the week. I know it's a big jump there, but I got Central 28-21. And the number one thing they have to do is stop the run game. Dylan Laub for New Hampshire has been a dog these first few games, almost 300 yards rushing in the first 2 games with 5 touchdowns. They can run the football. So this is a huge test for the front 7 for Central, but I like the quarterback play better for them, and I'll always go with the better quarterback in these 50-50 matchups. I think Central should be in the top 25 right now, and if they win this game, Scotty, do not be surprised when they jump up close to the top 20 this weekend. I really, really like their chances on the road, and this would be a huge CAA win, and the funny thing is they would get a CAA win before A&T does.
Yo, listen, boy, you petty, bro. Oh, boy, you are analytically petty. I swear to God, that's funny. Listen, I'm excited to see. I'm loving these MEAC matchups. I think this year they've scheduled some great out-of-conference games. Morgan State, Sacred Heart. I'm excited for this because I really want to see how Morgan State is putting this thing together. They were competitive against Towson. They look good against Georgia Southern. I believe that's who they played, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They look good against Georgia Southern. I really want to see how they're putting this thing all together. And for me, Norfolk State, I want to see what they honestly look like because they played 2 FBS schools. They haven't looked the best. They played against Marshall. They played against another Power 5 or something like that. They've been getting drugged for the past 2 weeks. I want to see if JJ Davis is what he's advertised to be for the Player of the Year. He was explosive. He's been next. He was next to extraordinary last year. When the conference play and out of conference play starts to come around, I want to see what this matchup looks like. So I'm excited for this game. And you already know Oklahoma State, UAPB, money game.
If this would be, I know people in the chat probably don't know much about Sacred Heart. I get it. They're up there in the Northeast, and they're in the Pioneer, or no, not Pioneer. The one of those. No, NEC. My bad. Yeah, the Northeast, and they've won that for 3 straight years. And this is a team, Scotty, that almost won a playoff game over Holy Cross last year.
Oh wow,
that was a Hail Mary.
Like a top 15 team or something like that. Holy Cross.
Yeah, Holy Cross is number 12 or something this week.
Yeah.
Well, in my poll, they were 11, but this would be a huge win for Morgan because Sacred Heart is going to win the NEC again, and they're going to be a playoff team. So that would be Damon Wilson beating a playoff team in year 1.
That's big.
At Morgan.
How was it at Morgan? Let's not.
Yeah, and without his players, because Scotty, we both know he is going to murder recruiting this offseason.
I can't wait to see what he brings out of the DMV. I really cannot wait. I cannot.
it's going to be impressive. I do think Morgan has a chance, but I'm still going to lean Sacred Heart here just because of Malik Grant and some of the pieces they have returning. That defense has multiple guys who came back for a 5th year. So I'm gonna lean Sacred Heart, but I do think Morgan can keep it competitive.
He is. I don't believe he's playing.
I don't think so. I don't think he was in the transfer portal before, what was it, May 31st?
Well, remember they said August 31st was the due date for anybody after August 31st. If you jumped in when they applied this new rule, if you jumped in after August 31st, you weren't. If you jumped in before August 31st, you can stay in the portal and they'll let you. If that's the article I read, I don't know if it.
Well, no, I'm talking about you had, so that's for people. So if you were in the portal, you can stay in the portal if you entered before the 31st of August. But you had to be eligible to play this season. You had to be in the portal by May 31st.
Oh no, he wasn't. That wasn't him. Yeah, he definitely came in late. Yeah, so he definitely has to sit out a year. But I would like to know more about that player for Morgan State. But listen, if you went to LSU, you got something. Okay, you're working with something. So shout out to him for that. But I actually agree. I cannot wait to see what Morgan State looks like in a few years with Damon Wilson at the helm and what he's bringing from the DMV and everything like that. Hampton and Norfolk State. You got anything? I'm going for. I think Hampton's going to pull this one out. I just don't know. I really don't. I mean, I really don't know what I'm getting from Norfolk State. Even though they've been getting beat down, they weren't even. I mean, even against Marshall, they just didn't look. It looked like 2 UABs against Alabama A&M, where you just like, yo, what can I take away from this game? Because I don't understand it. So I'm going with Hampton on this one. I'm going with Sacred Heart. I'm going to go with Sacred Heart on that one. I think Morgan's a couple years away, but I still think they can do what they do. But on that, I'm going with Hampton on that one. I'm going Hampton over Norfolk State.
I'm a ride with Norfolk State. I got belief in Dawson Odoms. They've had a really tough schedule. I think Norfolk State pulls up. Would it be the upset? I don't know who the favorite is because they don't release FCS lines usually, but I'm going to ride with Norfolk this week.
Okay, let's get it. And we already know Oklahoma State. That is what it is.
Not going to touch that.
Yeah, really not. The battle of the Delta. I had to make his own slide. The battle of the Delta. Delta State, Mississippi Valley State. I already told y'all, I'm picking Delta State. I think they're gonna put 40 on Matt Valley. Now, I wouldn't say 40. I think they'll be in the 30s. I think they might be in the 30s. I ain't gonna say 40. The defense is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think the defense is pretty good.
Oh man, this is brutal. Because really, if they lose this game, man, it's going to be a horrible season. Oh man, I'm gonna pick with my heart here. Never do this, but I'm gonna do it. Valley's winning this game. Give me Valley by 7. Give me Valley by 7 this weekend. I'll go out on the limb. You called me out last week. You said I never go out on a limb.
Yeah.
Valley by 7 this week.
I like it. I got Delta State by 2 touchdowns. I got Delta State by 2 touchdowns. Listen, man. This is what I think. I think the game is going to be tough defensively, right? But I think I think Valley's going to get demoralized by not being able to move the ball consistently. It's just so much you can do where you feel like, yo, my quarterback can't none of my quarterbacks can get the job done. And if I'm Delta State, all I got to do is stop Caleb Johnson. If I'm Delta State, you have to put this game in Jelani Eason's or Goodwin's hands. You got to make them make throws. I'm manning up across the board. I'm not making it easy. I got a safety in the box. Caleb Johnson is not going to beat me. He's just not. He's just absolutely not. Somebody said Delta by 50.
That's so disrespectful.
Oh my goodness, I got Delta State winning this game. They said I talked to the coach. He said we averaged 40, Scotty. He said I don't see why we can't put 30 up on these boys. And I agree. I don't see why. I mean, I know the defense isn't bad. Ronnie Thomas, Jalen Bell, those guys, Kenneth Martin, like they're dogs on that defense side of the ball, and I'll always give them a chance defensively. I think Ronnie Thomas is having a damn good year. Starting off against some top talent that he went against, Tarleton and Austin P, and still being effective. But bro, offensively, you got to get it done. Go ahead.
That comment about the Valley by 50, I agree with S-Class. If you lose by 50, they got to fire everyone on the field.
Ooh.
Everybody's got to go. I'm sorry. I hate calling for people's job. If you lose to a D2 team by 50, what do you do, Scotty? Like,
well, okay. If you fire, you know me, I'm a big believer in firing. You know. Now listen, you know I'm a big. I get somebody be about to be fired every week on this show, right? My thing is this though. But where do you go? It's Valley. It's not like you're gonna have people banging down your door to come coach at Valley. So you gotta let them rock. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them rock. I just can't see it because there's no other alternative.
no, I mean, not. I mean, if Valley loses by 50, Dancy needs to call the Jaguars and just see if he can come be the running backs coach for the season.
Hey, yeah, you know that I agree with. Hey, get you a paycheck. Go get you a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a paycheck. But that's a tough one, bro. That's a tough one. But I'm going to be so looking into this game. I can't even tell you. I'm going to be locked in. I'm gonna be like, oh shoot, basically. Like I'm gonna be game casting that heavy. That the battle of the Delta. Let's see what happens there. All right, my game of the week. Andrew Buddy. You already know what it is. Andrew Buddy, Southern, Jason Dumas. All right, my players to watch. You already know what it is. Andrew Buddy. Okay. Running back Ladarius Owens. And listen, DeMontario Anderson. You're not having a bad year. I can't say that. I think you're like ranked 2 in tackles. But you got like 5 solos, my boy. The rest of them jokes are assisted. So I need you showed up on media day looking pretty clean. I'm gonna need you to show up on the field and get your defense together because they're trash. Get your boys in line, okay? Andrew, do what you do, but watch my shoes, okay? Ladarius, do what you do, but DeMontario Anderson, get your stuff together. Get your defense together because them boys are playing awfully. All right? Athlete, Jordan Lewis, you already know. This is all defense for me because let me say something about this Southern offense that I realized after watching film. But Sean McCray, and I think his dad watches the show. It's all love, my boy. He is a one-read guy. If you can't watch the film and tell me that guy is a one-read, I mean, literally, if it's not there, he might go to his second option. He's running. So if I'm Texas Southern, I want to look this dead in the eye. If I'm Texas Southern, if that boy turns his head to the left, everybody needs to be going to the left. If you're a DB, if you're a safety, go to the left because 9 times out of 10, that's where the ball is headed. He is not looking you off. He is not doing none of that, okay? Because there were plenty of times in the LSU game that he had time to throw the ball. And he literally was like, and he ran. I mean, I saw it numerous of times. He is a one-read, but you're absolutely right. That boy can run. That boy has absolutely giddy-ups. Blue, I don't know if you did it on your video or you put it on your website, but it's on you.
Man, this game, it's a revenge game for Southern, man. They are coming in there. There's no overlooking Texas Southern this year. They are coming in there to try to run up the score. I mean, it for me, it's a horrible matchup because outside of Drake Centers, that offensive line has not been good because Drake Centers has missed some time early in the season. And when you already have offensive line issues and you got Dumas coming in and you got Lane coming in and you got Jordan Lewis coming in, it could get upsetting for Andrew Body when he takes a snap and there's already 2 dudes in the backfield.
Facts.
It's going to be a problem. And if they can shut down the run and make it where Andrew Body's got to throw the ball 50 times, this game's going to get out of hand.
I wouldn't have a problem with it if the offensive coordinator was better. I'm not going to lie to you. If the offensive coordinator was a little bit better and more creative, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. Like if Andrew threw it for 40 or 50 times, I really wouldn't. But that's not their strength. Like the strength is running the ball. But that's just my little 2 cents. But go ahead.
And on the other side, I mean, can Texas Southern stop a nosebleed? That's the problem. I mean, Scotty, they people just run the ball freely against them.
It's bad, bro. That 3-3, they need to get out that 3-3-5.
I told you 3-3-5 is the worst defense out there, man. Like you might as well just run goal line the whole game. At least you can stop the run that way. I mean, in my opinion, with Kobe Dillon, with how deep this running back room is, Southern should run the ball 55 times.
Listen, I wasn't a Gerard Sims fan, but if you
He's a dog too.
Oh my God.
He's a dog.
You watch that LSU game, there's no reason why Gerard Sims, you're like, yo, he got to start. He looked absolutely amazing against LSU. I mean, the hits that he took, bouncing off of tackles, the reads, the cuts. Listen, Gerard Sims is a problem, okay? He is an absolute problem. You Los, bro. I can pull up film right now. You run a 3-3-5. I've seen it. Okay? It's 0, number 2, and a nose. I've seen it. Now you might flex and go 4-2-5 every now and again, but when you come out, listen. Now it would be smart if you came into a 5-2-5 or a 5-1, whatever it's called, or 4-2-5, or however you want to do it. But wow, one more DB. 3-2-6. Whoop-de-doo. You still can't stop the run. You still can't stop the run. We don't run a 3-3-5. We run a 3-2-6. And still can't stop the run. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, they need to run the ball as many times as they can. Just listen, your quarterback is a playmaker with his legs. Just take the game out of his hands and run it right down Texas Southern's throat, just like PV did. Yeah. Just like PV did. And for me, man, this is just not a great matchup, in my opinion, for Texas Southern. And I know your score prediction is coming up next. I got Southern winning this one by at least 20.
Yeah, listen. Listen, I couldn't listen, man. I wanted to pick this with my heart. You know I did. But I'm sorry, man. I couldn't. There's nothing about this team other than Andrew Body and Ladarius Owens that gives me any type of hope that they're going to win this game. So I had to jump off the Andrew. I'm still on it. Do you not see the hands of? Do you not see the hands of my face? Do you not see the hands over the? It hurt. Okay, it hurt. It hurt to do this, but I listen, man. I had to do it. I absolutely had to do it. I'm sorry. It pained me. I didn't even want to look up. I didn't even want to look up, man. I didn't want to. It is what it is.
I thought you were going to go Texas Southern. I thought you were going to put it on the line for them.
Come on, Blue. I'm not that crazy, bro.
He said if I didn't pick Howard, if I didn't take that Howard L, I might have. But too many L's on the record right now.
That would just be that would truly be a heart pick. All right. That would truly be a hard pick, but I just couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it. All right, Blue, your game of the week, bro.
Oh man, it's not my game of the week. It's just the one that I covered. Listen, the game of the week, the game of the week is New Hampshire. It's not as Rhode Island, Delaware. That's a matchup right there. But listen, no one tuned into this show to listen to the Rhode Island, Delaware breakdown. But listen, they tuned into the website. The website numbers are great when I cover it, but not the YouTube numbers. Not the YouTube numbers. But listen, for Jackson State, man, execution in the red zone, obviously on the offensive side of the ball. And then if you can make Grambling State one-dimensional, the game is over. The game is over if you stop the run game. If Grambling State cannot run the ball, this game isn't even worth watching on Saturday. And that's why for Grambling State, it's established a rushing game early. And then on defense, man, Sundiata Anderson, this might be a go get that bag game for him too.
That's facts.
Go get that bag! Get that bag!
Listen, he's got to play in Jackson State's backfield. Him, all the linebackers, you have to go make plays because if Jackson State can run the football and pass it, and Shador has all day in the backfield, it's over. If you let two pick you apart and Savion Wilkerson in that run game get loose, Grambling's got no chance, Scotty. They don't. But man, what's your keys to the game before we get the players to watch?
Man, listen. Let's go to players to watch, and that will kind of flow into my keys to the game.
Gotcha. Well, we got the QB breakdown real quick. Listen, Quaterius Hawkins, Shador Sanders. We know what it is. The biggest thing for me, Scotty, with Shador is over 50% of his attempts have been underneath 0 to 9 yards. I went looked at the analytics today, and he's efficient with it, man. Almost 90% completion percentage, 281 and a touchdown. But I want to see him uncork it down the field. I want to see him stretch the defense this weekend, especially that test that secondary, man. And so that's my question mark. Is Shedeur going to be allowed to open up the offense this week?
Listen, bro. I had a conversation with a subscriber. We were on the phone, and I said they're not running a true air raid. It's a West Coast offense. It's a West Coast style offense to where it's rhythm, get the ball out. It's like a hybrid. It's like a nice hybrid of West Coast with air raid. But if it's Shedeur, I can't listen. Do you, boo-boo? Okay. It's effective, it works, but it's a West Coast style offense. It literally is 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. Like it's a nice style. It works, and I think it fits Shedeur perfectly. But yeah. That's what it is.
So hang on, I got you, Scott. I pulled up the analytics for you because I know people be coming after you. Over 60% of Shedeur's passes this year have been either behind the line of scrimmage or underneath 9 yards.
If anybody doesn't understand that means it's West Coast.
And Scotty, this is gonna blow your mind. In the first 2 games, he's only attempted 6 passes 20+ yards down the field.
Listen, you can get mad at me, okay? But when Blue brings out the statistics, when he starts bringing out the stats, listen, I understand. Listen, me and Blue understand football, right? When I'm watching this tape, it's all you're telling me is that you're great. And this is what I keep telling y'all. It's based off of alignment. If you give Shedeur an easy read off of an alignment, he's going to pick you apart. That's why in my film breakdown, you can no longer just sit 7 to 10 yards off. If 60% of his passes are under 10 yards and you've given him 10 yards. Anyway.
Listen, he's efficient with it. The offense, like I said, Scotty, good coaches, and this came in my Tennessee State preview. Good coaches build their offense around the quarterbacks, not try to make quarterbacks fit into their offense. And it's like they pulled out Shedeur's DNA and said, "I need an offense," and this is what it is.
It's
and he's going to complete over 75% of his passes for the season.
It's easy.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is, and I'm not, listen, please don't get me wrong. I'm not downing Shedeur. I'm not saying he's bad. He does that so well, and he reads the field. That's why you don't need to throw the ball 20 yards down the field, because between that 20 and down, he will pick you apart based off just him understanding pre-snap. So I'm not even going to make it difficult for him, because I'm gonna let him do what he does very well. That's like making Steph Curry shoot 2s. Like, why? You shoot 3s. Shoot them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to kill him, we're going to kill him in the short game. So I don't have no issue with it. I'm just saying it's a West Coast style offense.
Yeah, I mean, it works. There's no reason to change it. And on top of that, that's why I always say pressure on Shedeur is the biggest key to competing with Jackson State, because Shedeur is never going to make the wrong decision. He's great, man. His football IQ is up there with the best of them at quarterback.
Absolutely.
And he's not going to make the wrong decision. So if you don't get pressure on him and you don't make the decisions and the reads tough, he's going to kill you every single time. Kill you. And now, go ahead.
No, I said I'm agree every time. Go ahead, Blue. You're right. Go ahead. Every time.
And Hawkins, on the other hand, 49% completion percentage this year. Oh man, it was just like suck the air out of the conversation. I felt like it was.
Oh man,
yeah, 49.7% completion percentage, 330 through the air, 3 touchdowns. My thing is one, he's a bigger quarterback than Draylon Ellis in terms of just weight on him. It looks like, based on the film I've watched. Are they going to take, because listen, the QB power worked for Draylon at times. It just got called back for holding or some dumb penalty. Are they going to let Hawkins be dynamic with his legs? Because they have not used him as a runner this season, really. They've kind of taken that out of the offense. I wonder if they've been saving it. And then can he be accurate and efficient? If he can't, Scotty, you cannot beat Jackson State completing less than 65% of your passes.
If you don't have a run game.
Exactly. I mean, and that's why I said, man, if Jackson State makes this a quarterback battle, it's over.
oh, it's a wrap. It's no different than what we talked about FAMU and Southeast Louisiana. If you want Cole Kelly against Rashawn McKay, that's a loss. And it's the
Every
same
time.
And it's the same thing. If you make it Quatarius Hawkins against Shador Sanders, you've already lost when you walked into the room. Like when you walked into the field, you've already lost.
1,000%. So there ain't nothing more to say. He's just got to be accurate, and he's got to be used as a run threat. Now, for the players to watch, man, it's Savion for me because I think he established himself. And if Savion gets off for 85 to 100 yards every game, Jackson State doesn't lose this year.
Yeah, just too balanced. They're just too balanced.
You can't stop it because he's too big because he's big enough where if he breaks a tackle in a week not in a unloaded box, he's gone to the house, and you're going to watch 36 go in there and celebrate with his teammates. So, and for me, and like I talked about earlier, I kind of already hit my points on him. His power and explosiveness combined with his ball security is something that you can't teach. And that's why I think he's the best running back. And then Niles Gaddy, of course, we're going to see, man, he's second in the FCS in sacks right now, only behind Chris Whitaker from Incarnate Word. And for me, Scotty, I told you my biggest critique going into the season to Gaddy was his run defense, his ability to squeeze gaps, and his ability to stay disciplined in the run game. And this is a great test because you already know Maurice Washington and those backs want to bounce it outside, Lamborghini and all them. If Niles Gaddy does not have gap discipline this week, he's getting toasted.
You're going to see, and you're also going to see a lot of misdirection.
Exactly. Yep.
You got to keep your for Jack State. They got to be balanced. I mean, they got to be disciplined with eyes, disciplined with their eyes, because you're going to see a lot of counter. You're probably going to see a lot of sweeps and misdirection, reverses probably. Because one thing about Jackson State is they are a very quick pursuit team, and you want to catch them in a slant. You want to catch them over committing to a side and then coming off the back end. So, and then listen, if you want to hit something on Jackson, it needs to be north and south. Yep. It needs to be north and south. It needs to be between the tackles because 1-on-1 with Cam in the alley, 9 times out of 10, he's going to come up with the tackle.
Yeah.
He's going to come up. He's just too solid of a playmaker to not bring you on the ground. I don't give a damn how big you are. I don't give a damn if you Brandon Jacobs. Somehow, some way, Cam is going to bring you down to the ground. It just I'll bet my house on that. So,
and if Aubrey gets a hold of you, that dude's way too strong.
Too strong.
If he gets his hands on you, it's a wrap, man. I've met Aubrey in person. That's a big dude.
Hey, yeah, he's solid.
I mean, that dude is not missing many tackles. But for Grambling, man, I know he hasn't played a lot. They've really kind of held him out in Arkansas State, and then after he broke out, they kind of benched him in the last game. But last week's got 5 carries with 2 tubs and almost 100 yards. Explosive. And for me, the biggest thing, you talked about it earlier, explosive plays are the key to hanging in this game because you're not gonna put together 15 play drives against Jackson State,
sir, not even
at all. And my question is, are they going to let Maurice eat this weekend? That's the question, because to me, he's the best running back they have, and for right now, he has not had the volume over the first 2 weeks I think he deserves. If they've been saving him, fine. But it's Scotty, if we come back on this show next Thursday and he had 10 carries, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I'm lighting them. I'm lighting Hugh Jackson up. I'm lighting them up. I'm lighting up the quarterback coach. I'm lighting up Simon. I'm lighting all them Bamas up because you should have kept Art Browse. That's all I'm going to say. Should have kept Art Browse. But you're absolutely right. But finish your point, Blue.
Oh, and then Sunday Anderson, do I have to really explain it? The best player on defense, and this is a go-get money game for him. If Sunday Anderson does not have a big game pass rushing and against the run, Grambling, I got a lot of questions about the future of them throughout the season.
You know, my crazy pick was Sundada was going to have a better season than Isaiah Land. They're looking pretty even at this point. But if I'm being honest, Sundada has not been jumping off the tape for me. When I watched against Northwestern State, he still has not jumped off the tape for me. But the guy that I think is the key to all this and how it goes is Wesley Green. Like number 92. I think a lot of people, like, if you go watch this kid play, he has great penetration. He plays with great power. He plays with great push. He is the key for me to get a lot of, because you want Shador to run to, you want him to kind of get outside the pocket, but you still want to have containment, but you don't want him to step up in that thing and run straight up at you and get 10 to 12, 15 yards. So Wesley Green. And listen, Shador, my bad, I was supposed to say QB, says LB. But wide receiver Dallas Daniels, listen, that's the new Keith Corbin. When he gets in trouble, when it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, it is what it is. And y'all can say Niles Gaddy all you want. If you don't move Devontae Davis, None of that stuff works. Okay, I don't give a damn what you talking about. Oh, now it's getting. Oh my God. Now. Why do you think Vince Wilfork made as much money as he did at the Patriots? If you can't move the D tackle, if he takes up 2 blockers and they can never get to the linebacker, that's the Devontae Davis. You got to move him. If it means trap blocking him, if it means, middle screens, you gotta get him. If it means cutting his big self, you gotta do something, but you gotta move Devontae Davis. All right. My pick, what happened on Friday? Don't ask me. Don't ask me my prediction. I will give it to you Friday with my boy Mike Reed. All right. So y'all make sure y'all tune into the show. All right. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. All right. But Blue, who you got?
Oh man. And I almost went higher, but I try to put a little respect on it. I got Jackson State 34-10. Listen, I do think Gremley can maybe find the end zone. Maybe I definitely got them getting a field goal, but man, Jackson State's just got too much, and I just think they ended up pulling away late. Man, I got a 24-point win for Jackson State, 34-10.
Let me ask you this: how? Oh, this is gonna sound really bad. Call lines are open. And listen, when I say this, please just come in with some decency, please. I'm just saying, just come with some decency. I'm gonna remember my call line number. 518.
You said I'll forget all the numbers now.
Yeah,
don't know what's going on.
518-263-8124. 518-263-8124. Let me ask you 2 questions, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, Blue. Just what does it say about SWAC play that a game manager like Shedeur, great as he is, as managing the game, can be so dominant? And my second question is, if you dropped a Tarrington or the kid from UIW, if you dropped a Jason Shelley into the SWAC, what do their numbers look like?
Okay, so now you said, listen, bro, I don't want to get you in trouble, but just slide your head in the guillotine real quick. Oh man, this is tough. For me, okay, it's not. It's I don't know if he's like okay, he manages the game. You're right, but I don't think he's a prototypical game manager. I just think he plays within the offense. And what's happening around the SWAC is that I don't think teams are building their offenses around the SWAC, around their quarterback. If you know what I mean, like I just talked about how good coaching, you build your offense around the quarterback. You don't try to fit a quarterback into your offense. And I think around the SWAC that's happened. I don't think Valley's out there recruiting quarterbacks looking to build their offense around them. I don't think A&M's doing that. I don't think any other team in the country is doing that. Because listen, I talked to Kofi in the FAMU preview. He admitted to me that McKay is a horrible quarterback for what Willie Simmons wants to do.
Yeah.
And so why are you recruiting quarterbacks that you don't want, that don't fit your system? And so that's the difference, in my opinion, of why he looks so dominant compared to other quarterbacks, is because he's the only quarterback where the coaches really built the offense around them. And when you consider a Jason Shelley, a Lindsey Scott, a Tim DeMoret, a DeLelio at Austin P, or whoever, the question I would have is, can they bring the coaching staff that they have now and the offense they have? Because if you put Bobby Petrino with Jason Shelley and Tyrone Scott in the SWAC, 60 a game. They would be milking people. I mean, it would be disgusting. And so if they can bring their coaching, then yeah, like of course. But the problem is if you threw Jason Shelley at Valley, is he, what's the scheme look like? Does he have a Tyrone Scott? Because listen, Ja'Cory Rank is great, but does he have the same surrounding cast with him? And so I think it's a hard comparison to make. And I think people are too quick to just be like, oh man, this player's so great here. If you just throw him in this other situation, how are they going to be? It's just like Eric Barrier. If you took him out of Eastern Washington, does he get to throw the ball like he does? And does he have the wide receivers? And does he have the, you know what I mean? So it's hard to make that comparison. But listen, if they got to take their coaching staffs, there'd be some ridiculous stats put up. And it's the same reason why you just saw what happened in some of these out of conference games. And we're going to see, listen, because what I've heard coming into the week, Scotty, is that PV right now has a top 5 defense in the SWAC, is what I've been told. I'm guaranteeing Incarnate Word scores 50 minimum this weekend.
Minimum.
They just got done putting up 55 against Nevada and just got done putting up 62 against, or 64 against Southern Illinois, which was a preseason top 10 team.
So, okay. So, and I got some callers, but I want to ask you one, like, where is I mean, you see this in the grand landscape of you're like, Mufasa when he's sitting over and asking Simba, what's our kingdom? Whatever the light touches. Like that's you sitting over watching FCS landscape. I know these analogies are crazy. But where's the level? Because what's the difference? Why is Incarnate Word, if Incarnate Word came into the SWAC, they're winning the SWAC every single year, but why?
I mean, listen, Jackson State could compete with some of those top teams. I'm just going to say that now, based on the film I've watched, Jackson State could compete with those teams. But the problem is the depth of the conference isn't there. And I think when you look at what happened when Prom came in, he exposed a lot of the problems about roster management, coaching and adjustments in game. You also have to put players in certain positions to win. And so he exposed a lot of the problems in terms of schemes, recruiting, everything that he's taken advantage of, those same teams will take advantage of here. And that's the issue. And also, I mean, it also goes back to the budgets of some of these teams, because I mean, there's not another team in the WAC or the Big Sky or the MVFC that has what's Valley's athletic budget, like $2 million?
Oh, yeah, that's probably not even that.
So it's tough to build, and that's what the person I talked to who got recruited from Valley said. Valley does not belong in FCS. He said, as much as people say NDSU is an FCS team masquerading as an FBS or reverse that or whatever, he said Valley is a D2 team masquerading as an FCS team.
All right, let's take some of these callers. Rocky, you don't know the answer, guy. You think you know the answer. You live. Rocky, you live. Rocky. Okay, let me see if it's my call line or if it's the callers. Hey, Bridges, can you hear me? All right, it's my call line. All right, I'm going to shut the call line down and you guys call back in. I'm going to open it back up. All right, because it's not working right now. So let me shut it down. I might have to go to blue side. Let's see.
There is one other participant in the conference.
I heard that.
All participants are muted.
Hey, caller, you live.
There's one other
Hey, Scotty. How you doing, Blue? I don't think you can compare SWAC quarterbacks to the rest of the FCF because some SWAC teams don't have quarterbacks. Prairie View, Mississippi Valley, and Bethune-Cookman, I don't think they have a quarterback on their team, or they're just not playing it. That's number one. And Blue, can you give us a breakdown of the Delaware Rhode Island game? I wanted to catch that if you have the time. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the call.
So I'll try to keep it short, but I'll kind of give you like a brief rundown about about what I wrote about it. I got Delaware winning the game. 34-28 is the score I picked. The linebacking core for Delaware and the defense is the key, man. Scotty, they've allowed 8 points per game this season. That includes their FBS game where they held Navy to 7. And their leading tackler, Scotty, in 2 games is Johnny Buchanan with 38 total tackles this season. Yeah, in 2 games. 2 games.
Jesus Christ.
And their second and third place tacklers both have over 20. All 3 linebackers, man. They fly around the football. It's one of the best linebacking cores in the country. Nolan Henderson has to be better, man. He's got to create explosive plays and limit his turnovers. But Kasim Hill for Rhode Island has been a dog, man. Over 500 yards passing the first 2 games. they've looked really impressive over Stony Brook and Bryant. Marquise Shields is one of my favorite running backs, man, averaging 6 yards per carry this year. And the defense is the one question mark I had about Rhode Island. They got a star here or there, but as a collective unit, I'm worried if they can completely stop Delaware. They need to run the football a little bit better in terms of Delaware, but I think they got more talent. I think Nolan Henderson makes a play, and Ryan Carty has that team playing out of their mind. I got Delaware in a close one this weekend.
All right, Rocky, coming to you. Hey, what's up?
Scotty!
Good
This is not the bishop. This is the bishop's brother. No, I'm just messing with y'all, man. But hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
No, I'm just messing with you, man. But here's the problem, man. Y'all dancing around the problem, right? And this is a case. The problem with the swag is a simple case. It's a case of when keeping it all black goes wrong. And this is why I say, anytime you're trying to field a football team and you're not recruiting white guys at offensive line and at quarterback, you're not going to have much depth, period. What do you think about that, Blue?
What do you think about that, Blue?
No, I mean, listen, and Scotty, Ken Clark, everyone, I've talked about this in the Twitter spaces. Offensive line is so hard to recruit, man. Like, people just act like offensive linemen are just sitting out there at 6'8", 300-something pounds and all can play offensive line. That's just not how it is. It's just like Florida has an abundance of guys who go out there and play wide receiver and a bunch of guys who are just dogs. And Scotty's talked about that. FAMU's going to have a great wide receiving core all the time. But when you look at offensive line, it's not always like that, man. It's really hard. And that's why, listen, Alabama doesn't always have a good offensive line.
Blue, you dancing around it. You dancing around
it. What? Scotty, did I not say?
Have a deep pool of offensive linemen eliminating white guys.
I mean, I don't know if but the problem is, man, listen, you're missing the point. The same way everyone says, why would a guy like Christian Watson go from South Florida to play in Fargo? Why would you not stay home and play in front of your home crowd at FAMU or Bethune-Cookman or something like that? Why would you tell a kid in Midwest Iowa to come to FAMU?
That's fair.
This is my point. There are big, strong white guys all over the South.
And you know where they go? Alabama and Auburn,
Mississippi,
Florida,
all over. And when you don't recruit those guys, when those guys are not even options for you, you're diluting your talent pool at those two positions, at quarterback and offensive line. You can have an all-black wide receiving core. You can have all-black linebackers, D-line, whatever. You're going to have plenty of talent. You're going to be able to cover. You're going to be able to defend. You're going to be able to do everything.
Rocky.
But at the end of the day, if you can't block and throw the ball efficiently, you're not going to score any more points. And the fact of the matter is that there's a significant number of guys that play quarterback and play offensive linemen that happen to be white, that are not candidates or not recruited.
Can we address this?
That's the point I'm making.
Two of the most this ain't the message. Listen, two of the most successful quarterbacks at Jackson State and FAMU in recent history are white.
Dum dum dum.
The White Tiger was his nickname, and then what? Ryan Stanley set every record.
You proved my point, Blue.
But my thing is this.
Go ahead.
This is my thing, right? You know, the thing with recruiting is this. You're not the only one recruiting that player. So I can recruit the white guy. Doesn't mean he chooses to I can't say you cannot say coaches are not recruiting white people. You can't say that because you don't know, right?
Yeah.
You cannot say that, you're not getting enough white talent. Well, if I recruit a white kid, he got other 10 schools to choose, and he doesn't choose my school. That's not my fault. It's his choice. And you're saying
I get it. But my point is simply you have and I don't know whether they're recruiting them or not, right?
Exactly.
But the fact of the matter, they're not coming. That's my point.
That's not the coach's fault.
What is that?
That's not the coach's fault. If the white player don't come.
Oh my goodness. How come I'm not saying it's not I'm not placing blame anywhere. because historically you haven't had a deep pool of white quarterbacks and a deep pool of white offensive linemen in the SWAC. That's not ever been a thing. My point is, you possibly could deepen your pool. The two, as I watched the SWAC, the two most ineffective parts of the SWAC teams are the quarterback play and the offensive line play. The 2 years I've been watching, horrible. From the holding calls, the jumping off sides, can't pass the ball.
And that's because they haven't got white players. That's what you're saying.
No. Scotty, I'm just saying they don't have a deep talent pool at that position.
Because they don't have
and
white
I'm
people.
saying
That's what you just said.
Again, well, okay, so it's not about them being white, it's about being them good football players. And when you don't have a large segment of good football players,
which are white,
right? And all these dudes saying I'm Uncle Ruckus or whatever, I don't even care about that. At the end of the day, there are a lot of white guys who play exceptional offensive line at every level of football, bro. Every level of football. And why can't some of them play in the SWAC? Is the only thing I'm saying. And I'm just stating the obvious. There are white guys who play quarterback at a very high level, and there are white guys who are trash. I'm saying that if you integrated that position and you had more of them in the SWAC, you may improve the talent pool, improve the quarterback room.
All right, Rocky.
Because like Blue said, Blue brought a great point. Blue said they don't coach around the players. They don't create systems around players, and that's very true. And I think again, you have to diversify your talent pool to get the best outcomes, bro. That's all I'm saying.
One does not affect the other, though. But they're going to call Rocky. That doesn't make any sense. You can't in the same token say, okay, I'm seeing that coaches aren't coaching towards their talent, and then say they need white people. Because it doesn't matter if he's white or black, the coaches still aren't coaching towards the quarterback or towards their talent. So it doesn't make sense regardless. And I can't blame a HBCU league that is that's like North Dakota State getting mad they can't get a all black wide receiver core. Oh man, we would be better if we could get all black players at the wide receiver position. No, they get what they get and they make it happen. So miss me with that. Let me see.
The only positive is now, I mean, listen, the calls can only go up from that. We started out on such a ridiculous note that, I mean, listen, whoever wants to call in, man, listen, no pressure, because you can't be any worse than that.
Oh man, hey Drake, coming to you. Hey, calling you live.
Boy, that was funny. I got that. I was like, let me call in, try to save some folks. But I think the problem in HBCU football is they just don't have variety, and in their circle, they just haven't been outside their circle for innovation. When you've been, I mean, even for simple as football camps and getting together with other offensive coaches and other coaches in other colleges, and just to sit there and see how they do things. I think all that helps and everything. You think about you think that Southern couldn't learn something from LSU just on the coaches. They've had plenty of coaches there. You think they couldn't learn something? Because they're not in the same competition. So you think he couldn't learn something offensively, maybe defensively, or so I think that's half the thing that they just for the most part they're just in their same circle and they don't venture outside to get more training.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Scotty.
My thing is this, man. I look at coaches that are willing to adapt to their talent, right? And I'm gonna say some goats, and people are like, oh, you're gonna compare, but I'm trying to give you a premise, right? So my premise is this: with Bill Belichick, when he first started, compared to where You had the 07 team with Randy Moss, Wes Welker. They threw it all over the yard, right outside. They lose them guys. He says, I got 2 badass tight ends. We're going to work these tight ends, and he changes to that. And then he gets Corey Dillon. He starts running the ball, and now he's with Mac Jones, and he's kind of trying to find his way again. I think it's the adaptation, right? Same thing that Blue talks about with Nick Saban. He was power run, basic throws. Then he brings in Steve Sarkisian. They change it up. He brings in Lane Kiffin. They open it up even more. Like, I just think it's the adaptation to what either the times are going to as well as what you have on your team. And I think a lot of coaches just say, like, I do this, and this is what I'm going to do. And I think that hinders them.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Even think about it. Nick Saban was a fan of Lane Kiffin, but it's about winning. He went outside his circle. He's like, okay, Lane Kiffin's the best play caller and, one of the best play callers. Okay, let me bring him in, even though he might be an asshole. Even, you know what I'm saying? Even think about, even when Deion got his OC, a lot of folks who didn't agree with it. He went outside the norm. And I think to win, sometimes you gotta go outside the norm. And I think a lot of times we just don't do that.
What you got, Blue?
I think that's a little bit. It's just like an unfair narrative. I feel like because with all the coaches from the SWAC and just FCS in general going to these fellowships and being able to go to all these coaching conventions, and coaches talk way more than people actually realize, and so I don't think it's fair to say like they're not going outside their circle to learn, because they probably are. But you got to think, like, as much as, let's just say, this coach goes outside their circle and learns some offensive concept, the defensive coach is doing the exact same thing on how to stop that thing the offensive coach is learning. It's a chess game. And so and sometimes coaches, as much as people want to say, like, oh man, this coach is overrated, some people are just better as position coaches. Some coaches are just better as coordinators. Some coaches can make it as a head coach. Like, it doesn't always have to be. I feel like it's just an unfair narrative, man. So I think before you jump the gun on that, I would try to, see, is there any coach in mind that and could you find anything on if he's doing that? Because I would say most coaches do collaborate, because the coaching community is a very tight-knit community across the country.
Hey, my bad, guys. My thing just literally shut down on me. So let me.
There are 6 participants in the conference.
Yeah, my bad. So let me see. I'm going with I'm gonna go 7647, then 6151. You're next, and I got some other callers in here. But I promise you, I'm gonna get to all you guys. Thanks, Dre, for the call. 7647, you live. You live. All righty. Hopefully it's not my thing. 6151 coming to you. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, what's going on, Scotty? What's going on, Blue?
What's up, man?
Hey, I've been listening to the conversation, and what I realize, people don't understand. You have average people in everything. Then you have people who master a craft. All right, the SWAC doesn't have any coaches who has mastered coaching. For example, nobody even pay attention to Shador, for example. I just use him for an example. Shador, if you take the first read from him to the right side of the field, he struggles. Shador very rarely goes to the left side of the field, maybe twice a game. Go back and look at all his touchdowns last year, even all the ones to White. You want to know why Rucker disappeared last year for Jackson State? Because they always lined him out on the left. If you master your craft and look at film and make adjustments, everybody doesn't master that craft. People get jobs and they have jobs for years, but they never master the craft.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Anything else?
No, that's all. I just thank y'all, bro. Y'all doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
Hey, appreciate the call. Going 7. Oh, I got 7777. All right, going 7777. Coming to you. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
What's going on, y'all?
What's goody?
How you doing, man? What's up, Blue? I just got a simple question. Jackson State just got 2 transfers in, one from Alabama and one from, I think, USC. Are they eligible this season or
no?
No.
No.
Oh no.
No.
Mm-mm.
I seen them on practicing. That's why I said that.
They can practice, but they can't play in the game this year.
Oh, okay. Because they came in late or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't enter the portal until after May 31st.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you. That's all I had, guys. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you so much.
I want to address the last color though. I looked it up. So Scotty, that's not true. So this year, I'm talking about from behind the line of scrimmage to 20+ yards. Shedeur is thrown to the left side of the field 12 times, and he's thrown to the right 13.
Sounds pretty balanced to me. But he did say his first. Okay, so I'm a kind of.
His first read might be that way. I got to kind of watch the film, but I don't think he forces it to one side or the other.
I think wherever his first, whichever, that's the thing about Shedeur. I got to give him credit for. Whichever is simply whatever the defense is going to give him, that's what he's going to take. If his first read is to the left and they're playing off of the left, he's going to go to the left. If his first read is to the right and he feels like, okay, or if his better matchup, I won't say his first read. Let me say that. His better matchup is on the left, he's going to throw it to the left. If his better matchup's to the right, he's going to throw it to the right, just based off pre-snap. I think that's more of. But I do agree. If you do take his first read away, I think you have to take Shedeur's first read away, and then make him and then work from there. Now, whatever Shedeur does from there, he's just a bad boy. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think, listen, he's just a bad boy.
His football IQ is outrageous, and that's the other difference, man. Is I think sometimes when you look at the quarterbacks like that are different like this, man, they've played quarterback their whole life, and like they're not an athlete playing quarterback, they're a quarterback playing quarterback, and that could be a major difference.
Absolutely. 0527 coming to you. Hey, calling you live.
All right, what's up? What's up, Script? Hey, I just want to comment on the O-line issue and with HBCUs. Like I say, played at FAM way back in the 80s, man, and also coach high school ball. One of the things that you often find with offensive line recruitment is this right here. Most of your FBS programs, they're going to get your top players. They'll even go and get a player to make sure that other players don't get. So especially because offensive linemen are so hard to find. One of the things also that happens with HBCUs is this. We're going to most likely get that kid that's like 6'1", 280 or 6'1", 250 or something like that, and we need to develop him. Oftentimes, one of the major factors too, HBCUs don't have training tables. You got to have that for offensive linemen, because when you get them in, you got to get them bigger, stronger, and they got to eat. Oftentimes at HBCUs, you might see a kid come into camp at 290. By the end of the season, he may be down to 270. And that's just the point is that they don't have the nutrition and training table to maintain the strength, maintain their weight. So you often see a drop off a lot of times with that. So, and then finally, the salaries, man. You get a good offensive line coach. I know at FAM, I think we've had like 4 or 5 coaches, man, the last 2 years, because we're paying them $50,000, $55,000, $60,000 a year. Coaching out this, it's going to be just if they don't have anything at the time, they'll take the offensive line coaching job, and then the next year they're out of there. So you don't get consistency for maybe the techniques or the training that coach is giving, and if somebody else is coming in. So all 3 of those kind of different things plays a major factor when you don't see the type of line play that you need at this level. So let me hear what you have to say about that.
I talked to a coach, and he said, I actually talked to a coach outside the SWAC, right? He coached in FCS, and he said, Scotty, what they like to do is, dang, hold on, not looking too good. All right, my bad, Blue. I know you want to go back to that comment, but what he said is what they like to do is they actually like to recruit tight ends and turn them into offensive linemen. He said, so we'll get him in as a tight end. You know, he's 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", and then we trust our coaching and our ability to bulk him up and then turn him into a guard or turn him into a tackle. You know what I'm saying? That has great feet. So I think that's an avenue that a lot of SWAC schools should probably start looking into. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying, talking to those coaches outside the SWAC, they said, hey, that's what we have to do because we can't get all the big linemen, but we start recruiting those guys from JUCO who are tight ends that are a little slow-footed, but we, they're 6'6", 6'5", and you turn them into a tackle.
Right now, the only thing with that script is that's meaning that particular coaching staff is going to be intact. So if you got an offensive line coach that believes in doing that or whatever, but that guy isn't, somebody is turning over and coming in, that kind of goes out the window. So that's what I'm saying about paying the coaches and being able to build that type of stability to have them there. And so if you have that kind of a lot, that takes time to build. So you get a couple freshmen that you're going to do that. That means that, if they red shirt and then they come in, you're going to have that line coach or somebody there to take them, 2, 3, 4 years to be able to do that. And oftentimes you just don't see that at HBCU level because good coaches, again, they're going to keep on matriculating to the FBS level, to the Power 5 level.
Well, I think there's if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm the head coach, I have an overall scheme of what I want to run. So if I'm bringing in another offensive line coach, they should fit what I'm trying to do. And not saying that because every coach is different. So, you get an O-line coach that might understand the scheme, but, he doesn't understand how to bulk a player up. And he doesn't know, what I'm saying? But that's a weight, nutrition. That's all. I get those resources aren't there like you want them to. But listen, man, like, to me, it goes back to something like this. It's like, how do you get the Jatari Carters? How do you get the Titus? Yeah, you gotta go, you gotta do more with less. And I can't listen. I look at it like this. If you take the job at an HBCU, I'm sorry, it comes with it. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for Coach Dancy. You took that job knowing what Valley was. I don't feel sorry for Doc Gamble at UAPB. You took that job knowing what it was. So even Kenton Evans was like, when he got hired, he was like, his boys was like, hey, his other coaching boys were like, hey, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's Valley, right? He's like, yeah, I want to go down there and change it around. Okay, go down there and try to change it around if you want to. If you do, great. If you don't, it's on you. So I'm sorry. I mean, yes, those all play a factor in resources, but I don't feel sorry for you. You took the job. You getting paid. Make it happen, Captain. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
All right, bro. Thanks for taking my call.
No, anytime, man. Anytime.
All right.
Like, listen, man. I'm sorry. Like, sometimes when you take a job, you understand. And if you don't understand, that is on you. Especially at an HBCU when they're called a limited resource school, you're walking into that has to be the most backwardest thing. I'm gonna walk into a school that's a limited resource and be like, hey man, y'all ain't got no resources? Like, did you not see the limited resources on the sign? Okay, and then Mr. Campbell will call in with some, well, they could have sold them a bill of goods, said they were going to do this, say they were going to do that. That's on you. I'm sorry, man. That is on you. I'm going Bridges, then going 7-6-4-7. Hey, what's up? What's up, Bridges?
What's up, man? Good show. I wanted to comment on the offensive lineman thing. I think that's probably like the most asinine thing in America because there are good black offensive linemen. It's just, it's just the deep and the FCS teams get them faster than what we do. We gotta be on the ball. We just gotta make sure we know how to recruit offensive linemen. Like Blue is definitely he knows everything about offensive linemen. Like he knows like what his pros and what his cons are going to the school. So like that's the person that would know, okay, this school fits me more because they run this type of offense. I'm a better pass blocker than a better run blocker. Like there's a whole lot of things that go into between. It's just not going to picking a certain school. Is it fit for that offensive lineman?
That's fair.
That's number one. Yeah. And my question for y'all is, you think you can outcoach Deion as far as the scheming and his offensive power that he has from the NFL to now? You think he can outcoach Deion and maybe get some type of advantage to score more than 10 or 14 points? Just try to put points on the board. Do you see him doing this game.
It's on you, Blue.
You know, with the offensive lineman thing, right, it comes down to one thing. It is a hard position to have a good player in. It's just like quarterbacks. There ain't just legendary quarterbacks just chilling everywhere. It's tough, man. It is tough to it's tough to recruit good offensive line play. And that's what I was telling. That's what I was trying to get Rocky to understand is like, bro, it doesn't matter what they look like, nothing like that, man. It's just there's only a handful of good offensive linemen, and most of them go P5. And then all the other great ones are developed. And so it goes to O-line development. So if you don't have a good O-line play, it's probably because you don't have a good O-line coach. And that's where it is. But what was your second question, man? Can you repeat that?
Will Hugh outcoach Deion's defense that he has for his offense? Do you think he'll put 14 points on the board just like being outcoached or anything?
Because it's not Hugh outcoaching Prom. It would have to be Hugh outcoaching Thurman. And I just right now I don't see that happening. And so for me, I would say they have a chance maybe to put up 14, but listen, I find it very hard pressed with the offensive production and the quarterback play that they're going to put up 14. Because if they had a real quarterback, we could talk about it, but man, that the quarterback has not looked good the first 2 weeks. And so I'm going to say they're probably not putting up 14, but it's more Hugh out coaching Thurman than it is Prime. Because I think Prime takes the CEO approach, which is what you're supposed to do. And he doesn't call anything. So it's not Prime being out coached. It's you got to out coach those coordinators and assistants and analysts and everything.
There you go, Blue. Gotta outcoach. You gotta outcoach Zimmer. Okay, you gotta outcoach Zimmer and all them and DT. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, hey, appreciate the call though, Bridges, as always, my boy.
All right, peace.
All right, 7647 coming back to you. Hey, calling you live.
Hey, Scotty and Blue, it's Amani Harris out of San Antonio.
Talk to me.
And Blue, I wanted to get your thoughts on Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word is a fairly young program with budget. Their budget is very similar to HBCUs. And their ability to out-recruit HBCUs is interesting because they're in my backyard. And I mean, they turned that program around overnight. And like I said, they do not have a very big budget because they're a very small private school. And facility-wise, they have nice facilities. But just looking at Incarnate Word's progress, and of course, we're now in HBCU, my son's at Texas Southern. And just watching just maturations of both programs, my thing with the coaches at HBCU levels, it's more of a revolving door for the younger coaches. They're getting in there, trying to find that next program to step up. I mean, basically, everybody wants to make more money. But I know for a fact that these coaches do interact. I know they do go to these clinics, and we host the largest coaches conference in San Antonio. And I know that these coaches, they come to it. HBCU coaches, they come to it. So all these coaches, like you said, it's a fraternity. They all mix and mingle. I just don't understand why it seems like the HBCUs they're not growing in maturity in regards to their coaching play. What's your thoughts?
It's tough with Incarnate Word because, like you said, they're still a young program, and the coaching staff's new. Like they're one of the few teams that lost their best player in Cameron Ward, who was a bona fide. He would run away with the Walter Payton this year if he was still at Incarnate Word. And they bring in a coach that has never been a head coach before. And his first 2 games, he goes out here and beats a top 10 team by 40, and then goes and beats a FBS school by double digits. I just
makes no sense.
And I got to talk to him. Listen, man, shout out to my guy, GJ Kenny, man. He follows me on Twitter, man. I got to meet him at Southland Media Day. That's my guy. I love Coach Kenny, man. That's a cool dude. He's a young guy too. I don't know how in the world listen, I didn't see this coming. He was confident. He told me at media day this was coming, and I said, "Man, you're crazy. Like, you guys lost everything." And man, he went out there and balled out. So I think you got to give the coaching staff credit. And also, they're in Texas, and the one thing you can do in Texas is there is just leftover talent that you can develop. And the reason I say give coaching credit is let's look at Cameron Ward for a second, Scotty, and everyone. He came from a wing T offense where he never threw the football. They gave him a chance and said, "Listen, we trust you, and that you say you could throw the ball. We're going to give you a shot." He goes out there and wins the Jerry Rice Award his first year. And so the fact that they were able to take a guy who never was throwing passes in high school and turn him into a Jerry Rice Award winner in 6 months as a true freshman tells you everything you need to know about that program. Yeah. But as much as their budget's not super big, man, they still got a great donor base. They still, I don't know. I don't know which system they're in Texas, but I think they get money from that. I don't know if it's the A&M system or whatever. I know the schools in San Antonio, but I don't know what Texas system they're in. But man, we'll see. I think Incarnate Word's got a promising future. But in terms of comparing that to SWAC football, it just I don't know, man. I still stand on everything I said earlier, man. It's coaching and it's just developing that talent that's there. And so I think if you develop your talent and you got good coaches, man, you can compete with the best of them at the FCS level. That is literally all it takes at the FCS level. You look at all of these great dynasties, coaching and player development.
I mean, I'm just at a loss because I'm looking at both programs. It's a young program, like you said. I mean, Cameron Ward wasn't even thought of, and then all of a sudden he was a freshman sensation. You got coaches that's in the SWAC that they've been coaching for 20, 30 years. And I'm just saying, like, is it the fact that maybe they are holding on to coaches that have been coaching too long? But I mean, like, our coach is very versatile. He's been FBS. He's been in major FBS programs. I'm just not seeing the people around him that have the same variety that he has.
That's crazy. But hey, thanks, Mr. Harris, for the call. That's a great point. When you have, you're seeing a young up and development program and it dominate the way it has in the past few years. It's just like, man, why can't that be us? Like, that's what people look at. Why can't it be us? Let me get to some of these comments. Midnight said, don't disrespect like that. He coordinated the defense, most sacks in the country last year. And Reggie Bird says something else I want to get to.
I thought the first name that I said was Thurman.
No, he's talking to me.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I swore I listed Thurman. Like, I didn't leave him out.
I don't care what. Listen, I don't give a damn what you're talking about. Like, this defense is not Thurman's defense. I don't care what. If you've watched any bit of football and you can say, "Oh, Scotty, they led." I'm talking about the scheme of it. It is not the same, right? You can go back and watch all the games of last season, and literally, Jackson State, every other play would be in a double A gap blitz, and they would man up across the board. This year, I can't tell you what they're going to do because it has so much variety in it. You have the dropping A of 8. You got them going 4-2-5. Then you got them blending with the 3-3-5. Then you got them overloading blitz. Then you got the double containment. Then you got the safety. It's coming from everywhere. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Dennis Thurman doesn't have a part in blitzing, but if you think this scheme is Dennis Thurman, you're smoking crack. And it's some strong stuff. The stuff off New Jack City where Pookie was like, it just keep calling me, man. It just keep calling me. So miss me with that. And you can feel however you want to feel about it. 9630 coming to you.
Hey, Scotty. Hey, Blue. How are y'all, man?
Good.
Based on what the caller was saying about the coaching and why they can be there for 20 and 30 years is because mediocrity is getting good salary for what they're doing. You're getting paid $200,000 or $300,000 a year. Is sit there and lose, and nobody's switching you up because you've been there so long. everybody's scared to get rid of you. So they're going to pay for you to stay until you decide to leave on your own. So that's what I think on that. And on the offensive line stuff, Blue, what do you think? Maybe the HBCUs need to go outside of the continental U.S. to find their offensive linemen. Why don't save up your frequent flyer miles and go over to American Samoa and recruit some of those guys that are sitting there waiting to come in? Because that's what a lot of these schools are doing, right, Blue?
There's a handful, but that's not a sustainable model. Listen, man, because the risk you take recruiting kids outside the U.S. is football experience. And so, listen, there's a handful of schools that have tried it, and there's just as many that have failed. There's just as many that has failed as has had success. It's just a big risk, man, because you just talk about coaching in whatever conference you want to talk about, and you got to take a kid who might have only played football for 6 months in his life and throw him in there and be like, man, I hope all them techniques and everything like that are there. It's just too big of a risk, man. I don't think that's I personally don't think that's it could be a great strategy to pick one or two, but that's not a sustainable strategy for the conference.
Sir, how in the blue hell is somebody gonna go over to the overseas when they got $15,000 recruiting budgets? Like, make that make sense, bro.
They got to say the frequent flyer amount. I don't know, man.
I know you don't know. We know you don't know because you said what you said. That's how we know you don't know. Most of these, I mean, you talking? How you gonna say? We're limited resources, Scotty. We don't get money, but you know what we should do? Go to South Africa and scout a kid. It's come on, bro. It don't make no sense.
Oh, but Mike, I'm just trying to give them a fig leaf. I'm trying. I didn't go to a HBCU. I went to PWI, so I'm just trying to figure this shit out because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you got American Samoa. It's 40 times more likely to have an athlete that is NFL, and it's like 70 of them in the NFL, and that's small as island. And every college is like picking those guys up with that Polynesian. So I'm like, man, offer some of them poor, because it's a poor, state. So I'm like, I don't know, man. You're right. I sound stupid as fuck. Let me go. Let me get off. You don't make me look like a monkey fucking football.
Hey, I respect the self-reflect. Okay.
Listen, okay, I'm rooting for him because I swear to God, if Coach Prime recruits a Samoan kid and credits that Delta deal, he can call back in and talk all the crap he wants.
That's fair.
I'm rooting for him, but yeah, probably not a sustainable model moving forward.
I think it's American Airlines. Yeah,
one of the two. It don't matter, but one of them planes.
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my 7981 coming to you. Hey, caller, you loud. Talk to me.
Hey man, this is Sean. What's up, Blue? What up, Scotty?
What's goody?
What's up, man?
I just gotta say this. Maybe a year and a half ago, we were just talking about bands. We wasn't even talking about coaches, winning shit, none of that. Now, all of a sudden, the dynamics has changed. It's changed. So no more of this band stuff is going on right now when they call in and talk about the importance of HBCU, anything. And now the coaches, every coach is on the hot seat, and then we ain't recruiting a certain caliber type of person. Where is this stuff coming from all of a sudden?
People want to win.
That's all I got.
Nah, that's good. That's a good point, bro. That's a good point. People want to win now, man. People got listen, man, when you get a taste of filet mignon, it's hard to go back to filet fish. Okay, listen, it's hard. When you get a taste of filet mignon, it's hard to go back to filet of fish. But y'all but that's why Bama's want to stick to the band. Oh my God, our band is so good. I bet you won't beat our band. I mean, because listen, that's the fair shot. That's the fair attribute. You know what I'm saying? 7738. Then I'm gonna take a commercial break. Then we're going to have the headache hour with Coach Green. All right, 7738 coming to you. Hey, caller, you live.
What's up, Scotty? What's up, Blue? This is Coach Stewart, man. I'm a new caller. But I just want to touch bases on what you guys are talking about. I've been a SWAC product for over 20 years, man, and me and some former players. We've been coaching high school for 20 plus years. And right now, these group of coaches, they have no recruiting base. And you guys are exactly right. They have no recruiting base. They have no NIL platform. And besides Coach Prime, to me, everyone else is lost. So what can a high school head coach do to get an interview? We've been trying. A lot of guys been trying over the years, but like you said, they have politicized these HBCU SWAC jobs where they're hiring anybody, man. And after 2 or 3 games, when you lose, the fans stop coming, and it's like you're trapped. What can you guys advise me on that?
Well, Coach Stewart, I'll tell you this: you're on the wrong wave right now, and I'm gonna just keep it a whole buck with you because I've talked to a guy in the SWAC who is he's pretty good at what he does, and he says, Scotty, I probably won't be able to get a head coaching job in the SWAC because of the Deion effect. They're not looking for a homegrown guy. They're not looking, these programs are looking for the next celebrity superstar because of the resources that they can bring in. Damon Wilson is, he's lucky that he got that Morgan State job, but they believed in what he built at Bowie, believed that he can keep it going at Morgan, and they gave him that position, and I think it's going to come into fruition. But I just think it's a wrong time to be a head coach looking at the HBCU frame because, a lot of schools are probably going to want to go the celebrity route because of the resources, and they're hoping that their program can be revitalized like Deion has. So I think your best bet, and I hate to say this, is probably going to an FCS school outside, building up your resume, and then kind of when this wave dies down, double back into a SWAC school and say, hey, I'm available, I'm ready. I have the resume to back it up.
Well, I like what you said, but listen to this. Gus Malzahn was at a high school, and then he left high school and went to Auburn. Larry Fedora was at a high school. He left high school and went to Southern Miss. Now he's head coaching in the pros. Deion Sanders was at a high school. Now he's at Jackson State. So my question is, the coach at Texas Tech, same thing. He was at a high school. He was at Allen High School. Now he's the head coach at Texas Tech. I think we're not being smart because of the money. You're talking about a celebrity coach coming down making $200,000 or $300,000. We need to stay in our lane. This Deion effect, Deion should have got a job, whether it be HBCU or FCS. He just needed a job, and the SWAC gave him an opportunity. What I'm saying is, even if you go celebrity, Scotty, we don't have the administration to contain them. You can go celebrity all you want. They're going to stay there 1 or 2 years, and I don't see them staying there longer than that. They're going to try to get out because the administration is just not there.
So let me.
Do you agree? Do you agree or disagree?
I'm gonna disagree, but I'm gonna let Blue talk on Gus Malzahn because he's an Auburn guy, so he can kind of give you a backstory on Gus Malzahn. What's up, Blue?
Yeah, he came from the high school ranks, but he was one of the winningest high school coaches in Arkansas, or whatever. But he came up as an assistant. Like, he didn't just jump from high school to be a head coach. Like, he went from the OC at Arkansas to the OC at Auburn. Got lucky that he found Cam Newton, and then he was at Tulsa, and then he when he was at Auburn, what happened was they knew Chizik was going to fall on his face. So what they did is they sent Malzahn to Arkansas State for a year to be a head coach. That way, when Chizik fell flat on his face, they could go hire Gus Malzahn because he got all the credit for Cam Newton. So I don't know if that's a great example because you're talking about a system where he worked himself up to be a head coach that took like 8, 9, 10 years. And so that's a tough comparison to make, to be honest with you.
So this is my thing.
Well, what about the head coach at Allen? That was at Allen. He didn't work he was just the head coach at Allen. Then he got the head coaching job at Texas Tech, then the head coach at UTSA.
No, they did not hire him straight. They did not hire him straight from Allen. He worked at the college ranks before he took the head coaching job at Texas Tech.
But what I'm saying, regardless of how he worked his way up, he still came from the high school ranks. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
But like every coach does. Like damn near every coach nowadays comes from the high school rank at some point or another. Like you got to work your way up in the coaching business. So, I mean, when you look at a lot of coaches and you start looking back, a lot of coaches at one point or another did coach at the high school rank. Like it's very rare not to. Like now there are opportunities where you don't have to, where you can work your way as a grad assistant, where they work at their former university and you could be a grad assistant for you could be a grad assistant.
You can't do that anymore, Blue, because of the rules have changed. If you have over 5 years of head coaching experience, they're not going to let you go and be a GA. You got to jump right in.
That's what I was saying.
These coaches doing that.
But okay, hold on. Okay, there's two forms to this, right? Now I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna go back to a point you said, and then I'm gonna move forward to it. What you're talking about the GA, right? So you said, you know, these celebrity coaches aren't going to stay for 1 or 2 years because they're not going to get with the administration. Why would I? Okay, if a celebrity coach can't get the administration together, why would I hire a Coach Stewart thinking you're going to get the administration together? You're not. You have no leverage. You have no power. You have nothing to show. If Deion can't get Jackson State's president to do what he wants to do, why would I hire Coach Stewart at Jackson State and you think you're going to do the same? That's number one. Number two, my point with the GA, that is not all the way true, because if you watch the documentary of what Nick Saban has done for Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, and Loxley, they came in as analysts. He had them in as analysts, so pretty much a GA position. Loxley was making $30,000. He went from making $4 million at Arkansas State. He took a $30,000 job. I mean, it is Nick Saban, so we get all that. Nick Saban's like the Jesus Christ to wash your sins away. But he took the $30,000. He worked his way back up, and now he's working at Maryland. So listen, man. Sometimes, and I tell you this, my high school coach came down, played in the pros, came down, coached high school. We were the worst losing team in the metropolitan area of Maryland. Listen to what I'm telling you. Before he came, we had 10 years of a losing season. He came there. We had the best years at the school. He then goes back to his alma mater to become a wide receiver coach. Then he goes, because his boy worked at the Colts. He became a wide receiver coach at the Colts. It's about who you know. It's about networking. It's a lot that comes in a factor with coaching, but you just can't say, why are they not looking at me? You got to network with your guys, and when one of your guys go and get a head coaching job or OC job, they need to pull you along and say, hey, I got a guy, he can coach running backs. Hey, I got a guy who can coach quarterbacks, and that's how you get on.
Okay.
All right, appreciate the call, though.
What is it?
I ain't got to talk about that. All right, I'm going to take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this commercial, all right?
Get your pickup orders at the same time as your prescriptions at Walgreens.
If you're searching online for high-quality premium cigars, look no further than slowburnwaco.com. Slow Burn is a Black-owned, consistent, customer-centric cigar retailer with dope-ass cigars, featuring boutique brands and a wide variety of well-known brands.
When you order at slowburnwaco.com, Keisha and Rocky Miller will ensure that your cigars are carefully inspected before they are packaged, making sure your order arrives on time and in the best condition. So make your next move your best move and order some sticks at slowburnwaco.com.
Get your sticks from Rocky. He has very variety. He has white cigars. He doesn't believe in getting all black cigars. So he has white, black, polka dot, rainbow. He's for the people. All right. He's for the people. He believes in having diversity in his cigars. Okay. Diversity. Let's get to the headache hour. All right, Coach Green. I'm gonna take these last two callers after Coach Green. That's 8582 and 3418. Those are my last two callers after Coach Green. All right, let's get it.
Coach Green, what up, boys? What up, my guys, man? Good to hear from y'all. But
few things you left out, man, when it comes to getting these coaching jobs, because, you know, you was right about networking and all that, and plus the GA and all that. Also, if you got the top recruit, that can get you a job too.
Oh, when they go,
the top recruit
when they go somewhere, then they say, "I want my coach to come." Right, like your top recruit goes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rule against that now. There's a waiting, like if one of your top, if you're a high school coach and your players whatever school your players commit to, you can't take a job for like 3 or 4 years.
Woo!
Like they stopped that. That's a rule now, which is good.
Wow, I didn't know. 'Cause I know they did it a lot in basketball. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, football is a rule now. You can't do that.
Oh,
that's
damn.
not how Malzahn.
Basketball still does it.
That's not how Malzahn got his job, Rocky.
Hey,
I'm just going.
Yeah. Hey, now, tell me, Blue, how much of a chance do you give PV of winning against Integral World?
Say that again. How? Like what? Like say that again.
What did you say?
I mean, IUW, whatever it is. I can't even think of it.
Yeah. No. I got that. No, I got the incarnate word part, but like, what about incarnate word?
How much of a chance do you give PV of winning that game?
0.
Damn, not a chance. Not even a small chance.
0.1, because it's never 0 in football. Like 0.01.
Okay. All right, now I got to go to my boy Scotty because, you know, he's on a roll of being. Damn, I ain't even say that word because these people be saying that word and that's not true about Scotty.
Say a hater. Go ahead. It's all right.
I'm gonna say this. Huh?
I'm a hater. I'm a hater.
Nah, I ain't gonna say a hater. I don't like to use that word because too many people use that on you, man. That's not fair. I'm gonna just say something it's disagreeable, like with the Niles thing situation. It's disagreeable. I think you're giving Zimmerman too much credit for the defensive scheme of DT. That's how I'm gonna put it.
Okay. All right.
I think you give him too much of credit for that, man, because just because he's an analyst don't mean he's just changed. Cause think about when he got there. That means all of a sudden, you know, DT just revamped his defense in a few weeks because, you know, Zimmerman hasn't been at Jackson State that long.
Okay.
So you kind of discredited Thurman thinking of how he wanted to change up his defense just because of what he did in the NFL. Because, you know, NFL and college, two different things.
Man, you're so right. So right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I guess. But
okay,
anyway,
real quick, Coach Green, Rocky. I thought you were talking. Rocky, I thought you were talking about the Auburn job. That's why I wanted to correct. I thought you meant like he couldn't be a head coach because of that. Listen, yeah, the Arkansas one, that was a while back. That possibly is true, but I thought you meant the head coaching job. I was like, I'm an Auburn fan. I promise that's not what happened. It was because he developed Cam Newton.
Listen, Mr. Coach Green, listen what I'm saying, right? And once again,
okay.
I could be wrong. I'm telling you based off what I've seen with my own 2 eyes, that this scheme that they're running is nothing like what they ran last year. Now, I'm not saying like I believe because I showed examples of Mike Zimmer running this same style. Oh no, I didn't. My bad. I saw a video. I was studying some Vikings video and of the same type of style of which he did at the Vikings, where he goes overload to one side, you know, drops out zone, all that type of stuff. I'll say this. I think it's this. I think Mike Zimmer probably was helping and he just didn't make it official. You know what I'm saying? That's just my person. But I just know from what I've seen, this is a complete revamp of the defense. And listen, man, when you got friends in high places, it doesn't matter if it's DTs or Mike Zimmers. It does not matter. You're winning. At the end of the day, you're winning.
Yeah.
Listen, if I was a part of that bandwagon, I'd be like, yep, it's all Mike Zimmer. Yep, sure is. We're dominating your ass. You know, I don't care who it is. We're dominating you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Hey,
teach his own.
Hey, Are you ready to come join our bandwagon, bro?
Man, bye, Coach Green. All right, 8582 coming to you, and then 3418 you last. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
What's going on, good fella?
What's up?
Man, I'm going to do my best to try to help out these people when it comes to offensive line play. Blue, I'm going to try to help your face out just a little bit tonight. Let you know that some people understand O-line play. If you don't have a good O-line coach, and they're some of the hardest good coaches to find nationally, you don't have good offensive lines. Offensive lines can look different every single year. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're slow. But if you don't have a coach that can coach a center on how to be a center, a guard on how to be a guard, and a tackle on how to be a tackle, put all 5 of those guys together and have them working in unison, you don't have an offensive line. Your offensive line sucks. That means your offensive play sucks. Everything else runs after the offensive line gets together. And if you do find a good offensive line coach, let's say at the FBS level or the SCS level or D2 level, I promise you a group of 5 or Power 5 school is going to scoop him up. And you'll probably never hear about it because people don't talk about offensive line coaches in the same way they don't talk about special team coaches.
That's real.
You hear about quarterback coaches all the time because they're like quarterback whisperers, and that's like the sexy position. Defensive coordinators, you hear about that, but you don't hear a lot about offensive line coaches and special team coaches, only because you can get in that position and stay in it for your entire career and never be nothing else but an offensive line coach or a special teams coach because it's such a niche job. It's like trying to find a good kicker or trying to find a good quarterback. Like, they don't come a dime a dozen. There's only a couple of them that are actually awesome nationally, regardless of whether it's high school, college, pro. Offensive line coaches are not everywhere. You look for people and hope that they're good. And when you find somebody good, they're going to get snatched from underneath you.
That's fair. Hey, appreciate the call. 3418. Hold on, before I come to you. I must be failing up. I got to be failing up because it's real funny to me that there's podcasts out there that are strictly JSU channels. All right, that I'm talking about live commentary that aren't like doing like, you know, it's I must be failing up. I'm just gonna say that I must be.
That comment came on my channel too. I don't. I don't even know what's going on. Listen, I know that's our last caller, Mr. Campbell. If you can, I need you to call in, man. After tonight, we got to end on a high note, just in case. I need insurance on this last caller, please. Oh, holy shit!
Oh, they finally got to my boy Blue as the first. Man, I love it. 3418. It's not easy. It's not. Listen, man. I know, man. It's different. It's different on this side of the track. It's different on this side of the tracks. You know, it's 8 Mile over here. 3418. You live. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, Scotty. Hey, Blue. This is Armand. I probably I don't know what to say. When it comes to y'all and y'all talk about coaching, that's number one. Coaching in the SWAC, MEAC, wherever you go to FCS, it matters deeply. Now, when it comes to offensive line play, and I talk about this all the time, offensive line are the heart and soul of your team. I probably talked to you yesterday, Scotty, about that we have to know who is the best offensive line in the SWAC as a unit, not as an individual player, as a unit, as a collective. If you look at by the end of the season and your whole offensive line gave up more than 20 sacks, by the end of the season, we might need to figure something out. Number two, do y'all know how long coaches last just in their tenure? Most coaches only last about 2 to 3 years. That's about as good as they get in their program, which means that basically going forward, if your coach has to get maybe 2 good seasons of recruiting class in and has to show improve. After that, they're gone. Somebody else is coming in. So for y'all to sit there and pick on like, man, we need to get these coaches. No, some of y'all coaching Conell Manor, Buddy Pugh, some of y'all coaching has been there because they've shown and proved that, hey, we can get y'all. But other than that, most of y'all coaches are out the door in 2 years, 2 to 3 years tops. Like, they don't stay that long. So for y'all to sit here and complain about coaching is like y'all getting the turnover that y'all really want. Like y'all trying to find better than mediocrity. That's what y'all really are trying to do. And that's what needs to go forward. Like, we HBCUs, we don't have all the money that we want. We're not paying our coaches a ton of money unless they're great. I think most head coaches in the SWAC or MEAC only getting like more than a little bit around less than 200,000 around there.
Yeah.
So they're not making a ton of money as most people would think. Now the good ones, they're making it like the Broadway. Broadway was probably the last coach I seen watch. They're making 270, 250, but they also got a championship.
He should be in the threes. I thought Rob Broadway's in the threes.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, starting off 270, I think he was starting off making 275, but by the end of it, he's making 3 something. But even still, they still had a track record of doing amazing things, turning programs around, and eventually making to their point. But come on now, like y'all over here complaining about coaching, y'all getting y'all coaches, they're getting them out, and it's just weird to me that that's what y'all trying to do. It's like, oh, we need this, we need that. No, y'all trying to find better than me. Y'all are trying. I ain't saying it's working, but y'all trying.
Hey, you can do what you only can do, man. Budget, limited resources. Remember that. Hey, appreciate the call, man. All right, shutting the call lines down. Listen, man. Listen, this was a fun night. Anytime Blue
anytime Blue
get the cuss, that's a fun night. Tell them anything you got up coming up, Blue.
Man, I think it's my last show, for the week tomorrow. I don't think I got anything coming up. I've done all my previews. Like, ain't nothing else to talk about. I'm ready for football this weekend, man. There's a lot of big games. Since I'm not traveling this weekend, man, I had something come up on Saturday. I might still be able to do a live stream on Saturday night. If not, it'll come Sunday night for the FCS recap. I'll be live tweeting some of the games this weekend, but I announced my FCS game day location today for week 4, and I'm going to Hammond, Louisiana. I'm going to be at Incarnate Word versus Southeastern Louisiana next week. And then the week after that, they just came in the mail today, man. My Campbell credentials came in. I'm going to be the next week at Campbell against North Carolina Central, man. That's going to be a really fun game. Then the week after that, got that one planned too. Alcorn State, Southern, and Baton Rouge, man. So my next 3 weeks are booked up, man. I'm excited for all 3 of those trips.
Man, that sounds like a good time, bro. That sounds like a real good time, man. Exciting for you, getting your credentials and things like that. Hey, listen, man. Ain't no credentials over here. We over there roughing it. We ain't got no publication, baby. We out here, hey, we straight roughing it. We tailgate touring it, all right? So the next tailgate tour, I'll be at South Carolina State and FAMU. You already know what it is. Be up there in Orangeburg, chilling out. Man, listen, FAMU could be what? 1 and 3 after A&M.
It's gonna be bad.
Man,
well, no, they could be 1 and 2. They got a bye week this week. If they lose to the bye week, it's gonna be a long season.
I wouldn't put it past them. They might trip and fall and get an L.
Now it could be 1 and 2 versus 0 and 3, and then you might get a good game because those teams are going to be desperate for a win.
Listen, Key said the FAMU and Alabama A&M game is like the worst of the worst. Like who's the worst of the worst, or who's better than the worst? Like, oh, you might it might be that type of game. All right, so listen, guys. 2 things for me. Friday, tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Got my show with Mike Reed. Make sure you tune into that. The Breakdown is back. Has some stuff come up. And then next Saturday, I can't tell you right now because we still putting some stuff together, but I promise you it's going to be different. It's going to be legit. What's up? Oh, prayer call Sunday. All right, prayer call Sunday. Listen, let me say this. I'm sorry. And I know, Blue, if you want to get your prayer call.
No, you good, man. I'm good.
Listen, man. Don't be the black person late to the club and want to get in, all right? Get your prayers in before Sunday, okay? You can email, you can text this number, you can hit me up. You can email us at support@itsoffscript, put prayer request in the subject line, all right? You can hit me up in my Twitter or Instagram DM if you got a prayer request. I keep trying to tell you, this lovely woman talks directly to God. Okay, directly, and he be like, "Hey, huh? Nah, I'm gonna do it on the big channel. Yeah, we do it on the big channel. So we're not doing it on 3.0. We're gonna do it on all the channels. So because listen, when you talk to God, God needs to talk to everybody. All right, so that's what we're doing. So make sure you get your stuff in early. If you have a prayer, it doesn't listen. Don't let your pride block your blessing. Okay, don't let your pride block your blessing. If you really got something, and we can do it anonymously. It's okay. There's no judgment. Listen, I've been a harlot in my time. Okay, I've been a heathen. All right, you know I'm changing as well. So no judgment there. But that's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'ma holler. What's up? What? Point your hands toward.
Oh my God. He's so out of pocket always.
Oh yeah, in the road to 10K. All right, we had like 9. We're doing 2 baskets for the road to 10K, a male and a female basket for the road to 10K. Blue, you should be on the road to 5K, right?
Yep, we at like 4.6 right now.
All right, so my boy Blue on the road to 5K. We getting there. All right, you see he changing the game in the FCS. I don't know why he's not on the FCS All-In show. Sam Herder. All right, he should be a part of that as well. All right,
It's all good, man. Hey, we doing our thing over here, man. Doing our thing over here.
You doing your dog dizzle, baby. You know what I'm saying? That boy doing it. All right. So road to 10K, road to 5K. We out here doing it. Roundtable keep going it. And the Chiefs, we doing it, baby. We doing it, baby.
I tried.
PT Pierce. I told you NFL.
I got Herbert in like all my fantasy leagues too, so I'm
you was
upset right now.
biased. You was biased. You was a low-key bias. But hey, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'ma holler. God bless.